What is going on today?
It's
We
good.
are rating your Dynasty fantasy football teams. We're going to talk through some training camp buzz, some training camp news as well throughout this thing. As we always do, we'll kick it off with the trade questions that we have on the site. Then we'll go through the team reviews in order. We got 3 Dynasty Decisions 2.0s that we'll be breaking down as well. For those of you guys that want anything covered today, if you submit it today, we'll cover it for you today. So if you want to submit a Dynasty Decisions team, we'll cover you it on a team review. You want to use your voucher, annual voucher on a 2.0, we'll cover it for you. If you want to ask a trade question, we'll cover it for you. Yeah, all that good stuff. So, Danny, how you doing today? While we get into this thing? Wait for
Doing well. Got all the reviews from the last stream sent last night. So I'll actually, you were showing one of the examples. For those of you that submitted and were on last week's stream, I'll just show an example of one of those that I did. Like, for example, Shady was one that I sent last night. I'll just pop it up so you can kind of see. Shady, obviously, we covered it last stream. We mentioned getting a young tight end one next to Kelsey. We gave him some quarterback options, flexibility to potentially go and seek out on the open market, because this was the team that out of the startup kind of struggled at the quarterback position. He took that advice and he was able to acquire both Drake May and Baker Mayfield in various deals. So the fact now you got Drake May and Baker Mayfield, you got those 2 running backs up top, you still have some capital to be able to spend. And as you guys can see from the lineup, very, very strong team to compete this year.
Yeah, exactly. So again, if you guys want these big decisions, action plan, you can get it, one of 2 ways. You can purchase one outright, or you can get your annual mother flocker and get your free voucher there. Also, Kat's saying need some Underdog draft streams ASAP before they shut it down. First of all, congratulations to everybody involved at Underdog. $1.3 billion exits. Absolutely insane. Second off, for those of you guys that are worrying about best ball and stuff, again, I have not been told anything. We have not been told anything about anything shutting down. I expect it to be business as usual in regards to the draft games. If there's anything that we hear that we can pass along, we'll obviously do that for you guys. But I wouldn't be nervously going, oh my God, like they're not going to have best ball contests anymore. The indication we received was that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they're still one of our biggest partners to this date. They are our biggest partner, quite frankly. And we're still going to be on schedule in terms of the weekly best ball streams.
For sure. So, Nick, first trade question in here. Picking 10th in a 10-team full PPR home league strategy. I mean, we can give you a quick TLDR version, obviously, in a 10-team league in full PPR. Go check out the number one strategy from like the draft picks and the draft strategies videos we did. The only differences between that video and a 10-team league is that there's going to be a greater emphasis on elite quarterback, elite tight end, specifically elite tight end, as we broke down being the better of the 2 strategies.
So the way I look at this is you would be lined up in the 3rd and the 4th round term. So you'd have the 10-11, then it would go to 20-21 on the other side. So you would have roughly the 30th and 31st overall picks. If I'm
I think it's possible you could start your draft with, say, CeeDee Lamb and Chase Brown or James Cook. And then on the next turn, maybe even like a Trey McBride would fall to you potentially. Or if he doesn't, you could always go with more receivers and running backs. Maybe like it's possible Loveland would fall to round 5 in that format because it's a 10-team league. But I know you would be comfortable taking Loveland at that 3-4 turn if you had to.
Especially knowing it's a 10-team league. I'm assuming it's not like some crazy, it's a 3 wide receiver, 3 flex. Like I'm assuming when you say 10-team league, it's probably going to be like a start 7 or a start 8. And in that case, I'm totally willing to push Loveland to that 3-4 turn.
Wide receivers in general are also going to be pretty easy to come by in a 10-team full PPR. So if you have to go running back heavy early as well and go with a double tap running back, James Cook, Chase Brown at the 110, I'm also very comfortable doing that. But yeah, hopefully that gives you some insight into kind of what we would do there.
Appreciate you, Nickel, by the way. He's submitted a couple 2.0s to us.
Yes, yeah. And again, we'll go through the trade questions first for those of you guys that are just joining us, and then we'll go through the reviews after. And if you want to get a review, that's all linked in the chat, the live chat here, and in the description of this live stream. Staph infection, our classic. Jadarian Price, Eli Stowers in a 27 third in exchange for DeAndre Swift in a mid first.
It seems relatively fair. It does say you slightly lose. I think that's just because of the fact that we're really high on that mid-first asset. But when we're equating it across the board, Price versus the mid-first, again, by your rankings,
I would prefer the
close.
mid first.
I would also prefer the mid first. That's what I was going to say is I have the mid first very high in my rankings. I mean, you know how high I have the early first. I have the early first as like the 22nd overall asset in Superflex right now. So
yeah,
those picks are pretty pushed up high for me. On top of that, mid first in a 10-team league, gonna have some value there for sure.
Yeah, he did also mention too, he is trying to compete this year, and he's like, I worry the redraft projections are similar. Not only are they similar, I would prefer DeAndre Swift. So if you're trying to compete, hold the mid first in DeAndre Swift, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Also,
Whitney Levitt as the name of the team is hilarious lore of the Mormon wives. If that's actually Whitney Levitt, though, that would be really funny. Amari and Hampton, Bucky Irving, Tedero, and McMillan. So, I mean, this isn't even really. I mean, it's close enough, but like I think in one quarterback rankings, like McMillan gets a big boost because he is technically a top 10 dynasty receiver. But as we've talked about on numerous occasions, just because he's a top 10 dynasty receiver doesn't mean he's in the same stratosphere as the other top 8 dynasty receivers. So yeah, I think I'm taking Hampton here. No problem.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're the same age. One goes in the top 15 of drafts and one goes in the 4th round.
The one thing I will say that will get me higher on Tedero McMillan if it continues, it sounds like Bryce is just ripping the training camp up in Carolina.
I sent that to you. Obviously they lose Brissell again. That's horrible. LCL tear, sounds like he's going to be out for the season. Probably going to get more Leggett snaps, but Leggett was not really a factor in terms of taking a volume away from Tedero and from Jalen Coker last year. Truthfully, the way I kind of look at it is, why can't just this in terms of how the McMillan versus Coker dynamic works? Again, very bogged down version, but why can't this be similar to like the Cup in the Woods, like stuff like that, where they use interchangeably?
One will play the big Godwin, to use a Dave Canales like example,
right? I just think that frankly, like the archetypes both they are is very similar, so I can kind of see them kind of operating at the X and then one in the big slot and vice versa.
Yeah, so we're a little higher on Coker as a result, a little lower on McMillan as a result. But generally, I think that it's possible that the team gets better than people think.
Thank you, Crit. I had to clean up a little bit because I'm probably not going to get my haircut till the week before we go to August or to Texas. So by then, probably going to get my line up because it's going to grow back.
Yeah, there you go. Lando here. I may be able to squeeze a 2027 second instead, but on the surface, curious if this trade is worth it. So he'd be giving up a late one, Rachaad White and Stribling, who gained a little bit of value, but then had to take it away when Debo signed for the 49ers. But Waddle in a third. He said I might be able to squeeze a second. I would do this probably even without the second, but definitely if you can get a second, I'm comfortable doing this.
Yeah. I would
White
too.
and Stribling are inconsequential assets. So, essentially a late one for Waddle.
So the way I look at it is I would either want the third transitioned into a second, or I'd be willing to do it with the third if I keep White. It's kind of how I would approach it in the counter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I would even be willing to do Stribling in the late one for Waddle and remove the third entirely if it means you get to keep Rachaad White in the deal as well. So I think it's generally a worthwhile trade for you to do, but if you can squeeze a second, like absolutely do it. All right, this trade.
Real quick. Antler Ice, truthfully, when I did my rankings and I looked back on it and submitted it to Thomas, that was the biggest thing I regretted, is not having you in the top 3, genuinely. And you heard it the way I freaking said it on the video. And for those of you that don't know, a little bit was cut up, and let's just say the comments have been really active. Let's just say there was like an hour fucking argument after that video happened. Like,
I want it, we're not going to spoil anything yet because it just dropped.
It just dropped
today, but the people who got into the Flock League have been announced. So if you want to go over to the Flock League channel and check that out, it's about a 20-minute video. Maybe come back here when you're done or watch it after the stream or whatever. Antler Ice, narrowly one of those people that was on the doorstep. But yeah, as Danny mentioned, there was a crazy discussion involving Danny and I batting for guys like Antler Ice and some others. I'm not going to spoil the video. Some other people that were of a similar ilk that did not get into the league. But that's democracy, man. Sometimes you get people unhappy with the result, but ultimately it's what the masses voted for. So
at the end of the day,
that's where we're at with it.
At the end of the day, that's why we have to reach a consensus. Like if we were just going off of my list, if we were just going off of Corey's list, obviously like things would look a little bit different. But at the same time, I just want to show respect to all the 10 people that made the finals. And frankly, anybody that submitted a clip. Truthfully, it was one of the hardest processes that we had to go. And I mean, like I was literally getting emotional in the call. I'm like, fuck, man, like, how do I even rank these guys? I think all of them would be great fits into the league.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I was happy with my top 5 or so because one of
Yeah.
the people that got in was at number 5 for me. I was happy with any one of those 5 people making the league. So that's where I was at with it. Mystery meat here. Mahomes, DJ Moore, and an early to mid second for Tua, Romo Dunze, Casey Concepcion, a first, second, and third. So I guess let's start canceling some shit out here. How do we get Mahomes out of this side of the deal? Odunze, Concepcion, and the 1 enough for Mahomes for you?
Odunze, Concepcion, and the 1. Yeah, I think that would be a reasonable cancel out. And then at that point, it's the 2, the 3, and Tua versus DJ Moore and the 2. So basically, are you saying Tua versus DJ Moore? Is there a 3 difference there?
Yeah, and well, you're getting an early to mid second on this side of the deal as well. So I frankly, I think the Mahomes side of this is the better side. I would hold in your situation, Mystery Meat, because Mahomes is worth. He's worth at least Romo Dunze and the first, second, and third, if not Romo Dunze, KC in the first.
I agree. And what's the format here? 12 teams start 10.
Yeah, PPR 2 quarterback there.
Yeah, I personally would keep the Mahomes side as well. I agree.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go into Pickens for president. Danny Spurner account.
Oh, this is such an easy installation trade.
This is. I mean, Malik Neighbors is awesome, man. Like JSN, obviously, let's say more proven, more awesome at this point in time. But when it comes to receivers, you and I have talked about this many times. When you're an elite receiver, sometimes you're just going to kind of fluctuate up and down. You have a wide receiver 1 season, then you have a wide receiver 9 overall season, then a wide receiver 7 overall season. Like Neighbors could easily, this time next year, be worth more in Dynasty than JSN. So the insulation of that early to mid first in 2028 is just free cash in your pocket.
The video, spoiler alert, that's coming out today, that was one of my main cases, is that we forget how elite guys are because of recency bias. Oh, shoot, that elite wide receiver who was one of the biggest league winners in fantasy just 2 years ago, nah, he's fucking spoiled garbage because he has a 15-point per game year. And you guys can read the tea leaves for who I'm describing with that description.
I don't know how you turn that into a CeeDee Lamb thing, but...
I mean, he was in the video. Spoiler.
He was, yes. Dylan DFF here, 3-team trade sitting here. I just don't know. Okay, so this is his side. I'm assuming that he'd be receiving from the trade. So Bijan and JSN. So in a 1 quarterback start 10-12 team. By the way, no tight end premium.
Bijan, JSN. Go get the number 2 and number 3 overall players in this format.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's a lot to give up, but I'm comfortable doing it.
Well, I mean, as much as I think Denzel Boston has upside, and the purpose of your team, if it's the same juggernaut you submitted for team review a couple streams ago, realistically, if you're talking about a 3-for-2 of Genty, Achane, Brown, and you want to make some type of value difference with Boston, sure, he's just not a big factor for me. Realistically, when I'm looking at this, you're going to have a 23, 24 plus point per game projection with Bijan Robinson. You're probably going to have, even though I'm lower on JSN, an 18 plus point per game projection from JSN.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Dynasty Wizard in the chat again, without spoiling anything, Sid, I can tell you a lot of my reasoning that was cut out because we did all give reasoning, but obviously Nick couldn't put it all in the video. Yeah. My reasoning for having you, I think where I have you at 7 or something like that, or 8 maybe.
I had you at 3.
It was a high bar, man. There was a lot of great contestants, and I thought their interviews showed a little bit stronger than your interview. And as I mentioned to in the interview, the best thing that you did to me was the imitation. The Wizard clips were not my favorite, I would say. If you want my honest truth answer of why I gave you the score that I gave you.
I mean, I had you at 3, so
Danny doesn't have any explaining to do. But my score was one of the lowest, so that was the reasoning behind it.
Also, amen. More drafts.
But finishing 8th, by the way, in my scoring of all the people that submitted, the hundreds of people, that's still extremely high for what it's worth.
Also, James said he sent in a 2.0, so we should be seeing that as well.
I saw it come through.
Appreciate that, by the way, Flock. Appreciate
what's going on? You guys going to post some of the interview segment? I wish we could. I wish we could, to be honest.
Also, shout out Eduardo from Mexico. I appreciate you, brother, and congrats on the championship.
Yes, shout out to Mexico. Almost us.
Why'd I read this in the fucking Zuffa? Like, next year, baby.
Jameer Gibbs, Nico Collins for Puka Nacua, DK Metcalf in a late 1. Dude, I would do this for Jameer.
Yeah, all day.
Like, as great as Puka is for fantasy, like, dog, I mean, Jameer is a monster, and he plays a more scarce position. So I would actually do this for Gibbs by himself, let alone with getting.
I don't know if I would do it for just Gibbs because, like, again, Puka's 8, Gibbs is 5. Like, it does feel like decent value, but the fact that you're getting Nico in this, like, obviously do this.
Yeah. Also, shout out
Just
to me
record.
looking 10 years older. That's what I'm looking like right now. I guess I got to
Is
start
that a
using
compliment?
I got to start using night cream, bro. Jesus. I guess I look old as fuck.
Well, you are Unk. By the way, the funniest is like when somebody's new to the channel and they just assume you're a lot older than me. They're like, "Oh yeah, he's a year and a half older than me."
Yeah, literally. I agree. By the way, that Zuffa
Yeah.
Flock League baby song got stuck in my head quick.
Oh yeah.
It was annoying.
Is Joe Burrow a must sell on a purgatory team? If you're in purgatory, I don't think you can say anybody's not a must sell, to be honest.
Inevitably amazing, throwing some shade out here. I mean, Rome's been in our streams for about a month now.
Yeah, he's been in our
clear.
streams. He
Anyways.
actually shout out Nick Notorious. He's mentioned that Rome was supporting him back in like 2019.
Yeah,
so,
and we behind the scenes too, we saw some DMs that Sal put into the chat from like 2018 of him and Rome talking on Twitter, and Mason as well. And yeah, like you said, Notorious. Rome's been in the game.
Oh yeah.
LemonPepper chicken, TDs and beers. First review that we have here. Again, we have about I don't know 8-10 reviews to go through here. If you guys want to get a review, you can obviously submit one.
Real quick, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Count me down for sure.
Count me down, indeed. All right, TDs and beers. We got number 8 in the analyzer. So again, not excellent scoring so far. He said we're the defending champs, though. So if I sort by contending rankings, he appears to have gotten a bit lucky as the defending champion because he's number 6 in contending value. He might have made some deals. He said there are 2 likely reloads and rebuilds in our division and another team that lacks production. Thus, we like our odds to make the playoffs. What direction would you take the team so we can contend this and next year? So it's clear where his mindset is at right now, obviously.
It sounds like he's sharing the team.
Okay, so, well, the other part of this too, though, is being 6th in the analyzer and contending value and automatically assuming, hey, let's make some more moves. Let's like make the contending thing. Let's start with that. Is there anything that you would say on this team going, maybe that's not the most optimal way to play this, for example?
Go sort by contending.
I am sorted by
contending. Oh, you are
He's
sorted
number
by
8 in the analyzer and Dynasty, number 6 in the analyzer and contending. Okay, I'll talk through it then. Danny's going through some shit in his house. People are making drills and shit. Okay, so when I look at your team and I go, okay, are you actually going to be one of the best teams in the league relative to this guy who has Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Jamar Chase, AJ Brown? Frankly, LemonPepper chicken, I would take your winnings from last year and probably reload this thing. And the reason I say that is, again, because of this guy's team, because of this guy's team. I just don't frankly think you're going to be able to compete with them when you have Cam Scatterbu, Bashil Tootin, and Bucky Irving as your top players at running back, and you have Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, and QJ and stuff. Like, you can talk yourself into some of those guys having good seasons. They're not going to be better than McCaffrey, Genty, JSN, St. Brown, etc. Like, there'd be a lot of copium going on as far as winning the championship. So again, if I were you, I would collect draft picks, sell off some competitive assets, and try and reload this thing for another year, because I don't think you're going to compete with some of these top guys. I would count yourself lucky that you won the championship last year. And I would look to sell Mike Evans. I would look to sell DK Metcalf. I would look to sell Cortland Sutton. I would look to sell, probably getting off the risk of some of these other guys like a Cam Scatterbu or a Bucky Irving, potentially Tucker Kraft. There's just a lot of risk here. Even Dak, too, he's an older quarterback as well. So I would, with a Dynasty Decisions 2.0, you're obviously going to get a lot of in-depth stuff here from Danny and myself after the fact. But I'd be looking for trade partners right away if I were in your position. So find the teams like Trash Bandits. I guess he doesn't really have any pick value anymore, but guys that are like on the fringe. So if you sort by contending value and you find these purgatory teams that could talk themselves into contending, like this guy has picks built up. If you sell him a package of players, would he deal those picks? Could this guy talk himself into contending if he got some running backs? Could this guy talk himself into contending if he got some more depth at his positions as well? So for what I would do with this team, my first order of business would be to tear it down. Unfortunately, it's probably not the answer you were looking for based on the way that your message was, but that's the direction I would go in your position, because I just don't think you're going to compete with these top teams. I think they have too much heat. I'm sorry I had to give you a reality check here, but that's just where I'm at with it, because again, you just don't have the requisite firepower to be able to compete with a team that has Bijan and Walker and Jefferson and this guy with Chase and Gibbs and Achan. Like you got lucky last year. You won your championship, go rebuild it. You're muted, by the way, Danny.
Sorry, TLDR, I'm just getting ear blasted by drills downstairs, so I had to make a call.
Sounds good.
I'm good now. Wow, that was that just checked me out. I'm
check back in. It's no big deal. No one can hear it.
I'm assuming you told him, yeah, you won the championship last year. Realistically, count your laurels. You got your payout. Now it's time to rebuild.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because these guys, I mean, you can talk yourself into Scadaboo and Tootin and Irving and these guys having good seasons. They ain't beating Genty, McCaffrey, Henry, JSN, St. Brown. No, not a chance. You ain't beating some of these top 3 teams. So yeah, find the purgatory teams, find the pipsqueaks, go after their first round capital. And what I would like to see this team look like, to be honest with you, is get younger at quarterbacks, move off of Jalen Hurts, try and get Bo Nix in a first, try and get, younger Cam Ward in a first and a second, like move to younger quarterbacks where you can, offload all of your competitive receivers, Evans, Metcalf, Sutton, those types of guys, move off of some of those riskier running backs too, like Irving and Scadaboo and whatnot. Even Tootin, I would probably be fine moving off of, maybe wait till in season if he's producing and just collect as many picks as humanly possible.
Well, yeah, like wait until season, peak on like peak market value. QJ gets off to a hot start, boom. Garrett Wilson gets off to a hot start, boom. You mentioned Tootin, you mentioned Bucky. There are guys on this team that I think from a redraft perspective, I'm higher on than the market. So I don't mind the aspect of waiting till week 5, week 6, potentially banking on the fact they might increase 20 to 30% or more in value. And then at that point, if you want to sell, be my guest. But ultimately, the end goal here is by mid 2026 season, I want to be taking off as much production as I can. Realistically, if you can get this thing down, enter your retool, use the winnings that you've made this past year. Obviously, you went on a hot run, 4-game winning streak to end the year, finished 8-6. So I'm assuming you probably got hot at the right time, snuck into the playoffs, ended up winning the dance. That's great. That means that is this a 12-man league?
Yep.
12-man league. Let's just say on average, 9 buy-ins are paid out to the winner. You have 9 years to be able to turn this into a contender again.
Yeah, exactly. And
it'll only take you 2.
Y'all lean rebuild more than I would. I'm like, Arthur, if there was one team that looked like this, that would be one thing. Yeah. But the top 3 teams all look like that. So I don't think there's any chance in hell that he's making it out of the first round of the playoffs or the second round of the playoffs with any money. So that's why I would rather be proactive than reactive in this situation. But he did get a Dynasty Decisions 2.0, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of a lot of specific moves that we talk through. Again, the biggest 3 decisions, though, are going to be shedding the fat, collecting more draft capital, and probably pivoting to younger quarterback options, I would imagine, are going to be some of the bigger decisions for this team. Shall we move into the next one?
For sure. Also, shout out Hayden with the little Go Danny. Needed that after the drilling through the vent I was hearing.
Yeah, for sure. Nathan and Danny have it right. Yeah, he's a Rams fan, so that makes sense.
Let's go. Yeah,
also, yes, Sid, that would have gotten you extra points telling me that your family owns a record store because I am Unk. Dallas Cowboys is the name of his team. Oh, God. LawStash. Like I'm in big trouble and I need your advice. Oh, we got we're putting out fires this morning, it sounds like, or this afternoon. Do I go all in or blow it up? Before
anything, do I go all in? No, there's a fucking Thanos in your league. Don't go all in.
Also, when you say I'm in big trouble and then you ask if you should go all in, I'm probably going to say no matter what happens.
Well, let's take a look because I'm assuming the way you frame this is you're probably low.
He's a pipsqueak, my man.
Oh, yeah, don't go. You don't have your picks?
Yeah, first and foremost, dog, you got to go find your first round pick. Whoever's got it, probably
the Thanos. Guy,
unfortunately, yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god, he's got everybody's picks.
So here's the good news for you.
So Corey, before anything, what's the turnaround when the Thanos has every first round pick in the next 2 years?
Yeah, that's bad. Here's the positive sign. You have Christian McCaffrey. For a team in his state, he can win. He can win. So easily. What you should be selling him on is, dude, your team's the best in the league. All you have to do is add a running back or 2. You have a boatload of picks to be able to do it. Christian McCaffrey is a top 5 pick in redraft this year. Would you sell me my first round pick back for Christian McCaffrey plus Marvin Harrison or Christian McCaffrey plus, Javonte Williams or whatever? Like, offer him whatever it takes to get your own first round pick back, including multiple pieces if you have to. And then,
I'm not joking.
The project starts. Then you're tearing everything down, collecting future capital. It appears that people give it away for nothing. So it should be easy to get, but you're going to have to aim for 2028 because you ain't getting any 2027 picks.
So go to that Thanos. I'm curious what his quarterback core is because I think that's the best way you can put it. Yeah, okay. So he's got May and Mahomes.
No,
Maybe he's
the
not
only hope
motivated.
he has is selling him Christian McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, and maybe throwing in like some other, like give him Burrow too.
So-
QJ, or sorry, if you offer him McCaffrey, Javonte Williams, and Burrow, how many first round picks can you get from him? That's the starting point. That's what you got to try and do.
But that's the thing. Is he going to be motivated to trade for Burrow, knowing that he has Mahomes in May? That was my
Mahomes coming off
question
of an injury. You can talk him into
Maybe.
it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say that, hey, listen, I'll give you Burrow, McCaffrey, Javonte, and all I ask in return is Mahomes and 2 1s or something, including your own one. By the way, that is number one priority. And you have your 28. You don't have your own 28 one either. Oh, brother,
dude, and he has the Thanos' 28 one.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so again, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Whatever picks you can get, whether it's 2028, 2029, 2030. If you can trade for 2030 first round picks, that's what you should be doing. First of all, I would actually hope that this league blows up for your sake. Like, I hope not you necessarily, because you're the one who put yourself in this situation by the sounds of it. But for your sake, I'm hoping everyone in your league just goes, we're done here. Like, and this league just blows up, because this is going to be a long struggle. So if I were in your position, I'm shooting for 2029 and 2030 picks.
I'm not joking you with that Thanos in front of you. Like, don't take this completely disrespectful. I truthfully mean it from the bottom of my heart as like trying to help you. On the fucking DD 2.0.
Not a 2.0.
Oh, it's not a 2.0. Okay, never mind then. What I would have said is if it was a DD 2.0, your window would be in the 2030s. Like, straight up. Your start of your window would be in the 2030s. There is not a realm of possibility in the next 5 years you are going to be competing with that Thanos, especially knowing he completely holds control of your picks.
Yeah, dude. I legit want to see by the end of this calendar year, another wounded gazelle. I legit want to see by the end of this calendar year, Carson Beck, Katron Allen, Trevor Etienne, Elijah Surratt, and Terrence Ferguson as the only 5 players on your roster, legitimately. Like, just a couple young upside swings that you can sell in season. I literally want to sell everybody on this team.
I'm not even joking you. If you're going into the season, or not in the season, but let's just say whenever you're able to sell everything off, your goal should be like, oh, how can I have as empty of a lineup as possible? You have fucking 4 people on your bench because you traded everybody else. That's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. And also, too, I would like to remind everybody, if you want to hit the like on the stream, we will give away some free trade questions at the 50 like mark. 75 likes, and we will give away a free team review. So hammer the like button, and we will do that for you guys, because we want to make sure that more people can catch this stream. And it looks like we're putting, just like Danny's neighbors, apparently, we're putting our drills to work here and going under construction with some of these teams, because nobody's submitting brag teams so far. These are two situations where there's a lot of work to be done.
If this league is with randoms, time to call Annie and tell her another orphan's coming.
That's crazy. How the fuck did this even happen? You know what? I've seen worse. I'll tell you for free, LawStash, I've seen worse, man. I've seen people with no picks and 3 good players on their team. Like, at least you have Christian McCaffrey and Javonte and some guys that have some appealing value to contending teams. And again, if this guy won't give you your own picks back, you're going after the other dummies in your league that think they can compete with them and collecting their 2029 picks and their 2030 picks, because by then those picks will be very, very highly valued. And right now they might just be like, oh, I'm going to contend. I'm going to beat that guy. So I'll give you my 2029 first. No problem.
On top of it too, scroll up past 7. I'm curious what the league looks like. Like, there's 3 strong contenders, a Thanos and a strong rebuilder who's got all of the value. And he's talking about how did the Thanos team become that? That's a very good question. And what I'm assuming the answer is,
it's a bad trade, man. This is a trade that he made with him recently, about a month ago. He sold his 1-2 and another 2 in 2027, plus Brooks and Tootin, who are both young upside pieces. And he bought Christian McCaffrey and his 28 first, man. Yeah. Like, again, I think the problem here is the mindset that you have here. When you said, do I go all in, brother, you already did. You already did. You already went all in with this team, and you're not in any realm of competing here. So again, I hate to give you a hard dose of humble pie, but you ain't close to winning this league, my man. You ain't close to winning this league. So you got to blow this thing up. Go get your picks back. That guy knows what he's doing, unfortunately. Like, it seems like this guy knows what he's doing, and he's probably going to tell you to go pound sand if you go get your picks back. But yeah, you may have just gave him Jeremiah Smith plus for Christian McCaffrey.
Not joking you combine the totality of assets on 3 of those teams in the league, and it would still be worse than what Sir Pix-a-Lot has running.
He could, have you guys ever played Catan and someone rolls a 7 and you have to drop half your deck? This guy could drop half of his team and it would still be one of the best teams in the league.
Dude, out of pity, he can give you 5 firsts in the next 2 years and still be well above you in the analyzer.
Yeah,
just for shits and gigs.
Man.
If he just wanted to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do some charity. I'll give you 5 ones. He would still come out ahead.
Yeah, this is that. Unfortunately, LawStash, one thing I can recommend you do is stay tapped in right here. We can help you not ever do shit like this again. Unfortunately,
this is a rough one.
We've all been here, maybe not to this extent, but we've all had bad trades where we want them back. And unfortunately, you were not in a position to buy Christian McCaffrey. So that was very sharp of that guy to make that move with you. Very sharp.
And to be honest, if the other guy had sent the team review and he said, hey, I have an offer on the table, I could potentially move this, like, we would have been the one saying, oh yeah, go smash that. That guy's team is going to fall off a cliff. Like, when we get reviews sometimes, and it's from the other perspective where the Thanos team or the Juggernaut team submits, sometimes our advice is quite literally go see who the pipsqueaks who think they're going to contend are.
Yeah, like he did. I don't know if the guy's in the league, like he submitted a team to us, but he clearly took you to the woodshed on that deal. Like that was as hard of a bending over as I've seen for sure in a trade.
I'm trying to say this with the most sympathy as I can. Quite literally, again, if you guys are truthfully in this league for the long haul, just accept the fact that the next 5 years, compete is not in your vocabulary.
Yeah, no, you are selling anybody with a pulse for picks. All you care about is picks, and not picks next year, not picks even in 2028. All you care about is picks in 2029 and 2020 and 2030, because that's the only way you're going to build up a team that can even remotely compare to this guy's team is by having this pick equity in 2029 and beyond.
And exactly, at the end of the day, if it sounds like we're being harsh, it's because we're fucking passionate and we want you to succeed. And at this point, it's just, this is not a team
this is not a terrible piece of advice. I wouldn't advocate for doing this because it's BM, but it is I don't disagree with you, Scribbles, but if you put the team in this state, I think you owe it to the league to not leave the league. Personally,
I agree, because ultimately, who the heck would pick this up?
And maybe this is an orphan, and you just made that trade, or maybe the guy before you made that trade. But we assume you made that trade, which is why we're
considering you said, "Do I go all in?" I'm assuming.
Yeah, I assume it was you. But anyways, that was a rough one.
Last thing I'll say, just truthfully understand, this is a long-term process. You are going to be on 24/7 daily, seeing who the top high school recruits are, going through profiles, who's going to commit to Ohio State, who's going to commit to Alabama.
You'll be a dynasty fantasy football content creator by the time you're done with this team. Let's just put it that way.
Never mind a dynasty team. This is basically a Devi team for you this right now. Your recon's got to be who's the best 13-year-old in America right now.
Yeah, no, you need to be going to Texas high school stadiums to find your 2030 draft picks. But anyways, here. Nico's Nipple Nibblers is crazy from, I think this is Connor Seed, I think is his first name, because he's been an OG of the channel for a while.
Yeah.
Also, just leave, bro, and don't do that dumbass shit again. These names are crazy. Oh, Gunt Crabbers is crazy.
Yo, what?
That is crazy if you swap the first 2 letters there.
Yeah.
Anyways, Connor's team, better shape than the last one. Let's just put it that way.
Not hard, but
not as bad. Good shell. Love the shell here. Caleb Williams, Baker, a little bit older on the quarterback side there, but love the receiver core that you've built up. Very, very young. A bunch of upside guys. Nico, a little bit out of place given his age. Like the tight end core, I feel like you're locked down there. And then you got some upside at running back to, Dowdle pops up during the season. You can sell him. This is a house money team. That's how I would describe it. Not surprising that Connor built a team like this because he's been following us for 4 or 5 years, it feels like.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, overall, this is a very good hero running back shell. Judkins to be your hero. You have the elite wide receiver depth, #1 on the analyzer. You have 2 tight ends we both feel very confident about. Sam Laporta sounds like the back's behind him. As we're actually live right now, Tucker Kraft just got announced he's been taken off the PUP. So it sounds like his week 1 availability is going to be there. You have Caleb, you have Baker. Yeah, sure. Maybe in season you realize, I need a quarterback 3. I'll throw a 3 at like Geno Smith. Like maybe that's something you do in season. But overall, I think this is just a well-constructed team.
Yeah, I think you're probably not in the competitive mindset to be buying a Geno Smith in this state.
That's why I've said it's more of like a wait and see situation.
Yeah, and like when you go to the contending value, he's
10th. Never mind.
He's 10th in contending value. So you're not going to compete with this team. What I would do personally in this situation is, can you pivot Nico Collins into a similarly valued pick bundle of a 1 and a 2, or maybe a young running back that you can build around, and then refashion this team? Because the receiver core minus Nico Collins is all in the same productive window. They're all 22, 23, and 24-year-old guys. Sam Laporta and Kraft, maybe now that Kraft is activated, you could sell high on him, or Sam Laporta, maybe you'd want to sell on. You probably don't need both of those guys, so I'd be fine selling one of them. And Baker Mayfield too. He's a 30-year-old quarterback. Like, you could probably sell him for a comparably valued young quarterback like Cam Ward or Bryce Young plus or Tyler Shuck plus or something like that. So the older assets that you have, Collins, Mayfield, and one of those 2 tight ends, is probably what I would look to sell for future pick capital or for a younger player.
I mean, I think that's a very good point. If that can get you, like Corey said, future capital, maybe another running back that you like here, I think that would make sense. Tucker Kraft seems like a guy that obviously the positive buzz. Maybe you can kind of see if you can sell at this point, find the Jordan Love team. Again, I just love both these tight ends. Realistically, I don't mind keeping them till in season if they get off the hot
that's
starts.
What I mean. Like, if if they both start producing, you could probably stand to sell one of them. Or if, like, let's say the Kraft spike in value because he's not on the pup gives you a selling window, you could sell him now as well and just offload that risk that he loses value. Like I said, I think Collins, Mayfield, and one of the tight ends, should the opportunity present itself, is a good way for you to reposition, because what you need is running backs, right? Long-term, you need running backs. Next year's running back class is pretty good. You could probably pivot into, let's say 2 more 27 and 28 first combined, and actually be ready to compete with this team come after your 2027 rookie draft. That's kind of where I'd be at with this roster, because it's not going to compete in its current state. So you're going to need more assets to be able to build it up in the long term, which is where I'm going towards the draft picks. And Collins is 27 and he's going to be great this year, but he's probably not going to gain any more value on the market. Even if he had a great season, he's probably not any more expensive next year.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Overall, reorganizing, I would say, the demographic of this team, positioning yourself to potentially be a 1-year retool, like Corey said. Maybe at that point, the 2027 pick, you get like an Ahmad Hardy type or a Jaden Ball type after a big year at Florida. Or, I mean, we can throw so many names at next year's running back class. Specifically, whoever's ends up being the ones that break out are going to be the ones in that mid-first conversation for you.
Exactly, yeah. So you just need to be able to find the assets to be able to acquire those players. More 2s, more 1s. Try and shed the fat where you can. Dowdle pops up as the Steelers starter for 4 games. You could probably get a 2 or maybe a 2 and a 3 for him during the season, something like that. Coker, maybe he's popping up. You don't really need a ton of value there. Maybe a
lot of wide receiver depth.
Yeah, you could also offload the risk of some of these receivers too. Like, let's say you're like worried about Marvin Harrison Jr. or something. He has like a big game early in the season. You could sell off on him or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe like you go a step further. Let's just say, on average, Nico Collins could get you like a base 1 or a 1 and a 2 straight up. Maybe it's Nico Collins plus Rico Dowdle plus a guy like Deebo Samuel. Can you get 2 1s? Like, try to make incremental moves like that. See, okay, if X player's base value is at here, can I get 30% extra base value if I add a couple of these, Rodriguez, Rico Dowdle, like I said, Deebo Samuel, guys like that you kind of just tack onto deals. If somebody has interest, I want the starting tight end for the Dolphins, and Greg Dolch's been good in training camp. He wants them, fucking throw him in the deal.
Exactly. Yeah. Just tacking players on and incremental gains in the trades. Again, Seed knows what he's doing. I feel like he'll have this in really great shape by a year from now. Yes, I'm hyped. Dude, I'm hyped for some redemption for both of us. The FSE redemption is going to go hard this year, to be honest with you. So,
for sure.
Also, Flockonimus, hey, who's the number 1 comment on that video? It would be me saying justice for, not going to spoil it, justice for somebody is what the top comment on that video is, or the most upvoted comment. We're right there with you, brother. Yep. We're right there with you.
True OG of every channel. Yeah, I appreciate you for that, Dylan. Can confidently say that you are easily one of the most active when it comes to streams, for sure, and comments for that matter.
Yeah, and not just on our stuff as well, on the other guys' stuff as well.
I love how he specifies you, by the way. Bush.
12-team PPR. Yeah, I'd pay that for Loveland any day. Likely Stowers at 27 first. I'd pay that any day.
Hey, it's probably why you didn't ask me, because he knew I would just say yeah right away.
Yeah, exactly why he didn't ask you. Anyways, next team we have here from Zach Mikowski or Z Mikowski. Don't want to assume his Zach.
Shout out Big Mike, by the way. No, I know it's Zach.
I know, but no other name starts with Z, so you probably know it's Zach.
He's messaged us on Twitter before too, so I know Zach.
Yeah, facts. Any thoughts, improvements at running back and quarterback? Should I flip Kraft plus Ladd for ARSB or someone of that caliber? First of all, yes, if you can, given the strength of your team. Your starting lineup's all that matter, and you have McBride already. So yeah, Kraft plus Ladd, if that gets you St. Brown, I would do that in a heartbeat. I'd probably throw in a 2 or multiple 2s to do that if I could.
All day.
Lost in the championship last year. Curious to what I can do, take this team to a juggernaut for years to come. Yeah, I mean,
Not
you're right
far
on the
off.
doorstep of being a juggernaut already.
What, 260 value off the current juggernaut in your league. So clearly you're right on the edge. I think the number one thing probably distinguishing that guy from you is maybe one other productive running back.
Well, and also I think part of the rationale for a juggernaut is you need to be top 4 in every position, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that he's 5th in running back might be holding him back from being a juggernaut. So to answer your original question, instead of trading Ladd McConkey for Tucker Kraft, I would probably go after a running back instead. Instead of trading Ladd McConkey plus Tucker Kraft for St. Brown, I would probably go after a running back instead. So if you could go after Genty, Hampton, Achane, Walker, somebody of that caliber, I would be James Cook, somebody like that.
Corey, or you make the Kraft plus Ladd move for Ramon or St. Brown. Is that the trade you mentioned for Amonra?
Yeah, it was Kraft plus McConkey for St. Brown. But if you can do it for Genty or Hampton or somebody instead, I would definitely do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If that deal's on the table, just take that deal and then flip Jefferson for one of those running backs if you want.
Yeah, this guy right here has no tight ends, has good running backs. Would he be at all interested in a Tucker Kraft plus something for let's see if we can craft something. Odunze and Kraft get you James Cook?
Probably, I would say so.
Or if you want to swing for the big hammer, you could go for Trey McBride plus for Jahmyr Gibbs. I'd be comfortable doing that too.
Yeah, be swinging the big hammer.
Yeah, swing your big hammer on him, dude. You got the assets to be able to swing that big hammer.
Hey, yo.
Exactly. This guy doesn't have a great tight end situation either, but he's probably competitive. He probably wouldn't trade McCaffrey or those guys. You could go after Jeremiah Love if this guy wants to build around somebody. Amari and Hampton's in no man's land on this guy's team, and he's a young team. This is a good example of a team that I would go after.
Is that John Pork with a Mike Wazowski PFP?
I know, crazy. He's probably not going to want Kraft from you, but Hampton probably attainable for a receiver on a team like this. Would you be opposed to this, Danny, given the state of his team? Would you be opposed to Malik Neighbors for Amari and Hampton? Given the state of his receiver core, just swapping Neighbors for Hampton straight.
Well, why don't you just offer Jefferson first?
I mean, he's not a competitive team, so he probably wants a young receiver, I'd imagine. Putting myself in this guy's shoes, he probably doesn't want Jefferson. He'd prefer Neighbors.
I mean, he doesn't have his 2 or 3 this year. He's you're overestimating a guy like this, thinking if he can compete or not.
I know, but I would like to start with the offer that appeals to him. You know what I mean?
Fair.
If I was in this position, somebody offered me Jefferson, I'd be like, can't you see that I'm not competing?
Yeah, no, fair. Again, I would start with Jefferson because I would rather hold Neighbors, but if you have to throw Neighbors, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. This is a crazy comment by Dylan. At least Corey got his nail for life because I said hammer.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I think.
Also, Dylan, you should ask your mother if I got a big hammer.
Yeah, that's you guys are right on the same level maturity-wise.
Hey, he gave me a layup, bro. He gave me the layup.
Yeah, but if I were you, Zach, the original question, improvements at running back and quarterback, is exactly what I would do with this team. I'm comfortable going after a competitive quarterback if you want to. I'm comfortable going after a competitive running back if you want to, because you got a team that can win the championship.
Shout out Stun. He says maybe Danny has a hammer. He's just keeping the females safe. Yeah, I mean, I really do appreciate the females. I don't want to hurt them,
Yeah, we got to stop this. Let's get back on track. Yeah, running back and quarterback. That's what you got to do. So I would exhaust those avenues. I would go after, given Stroud's a good quarterback 3 to me. Can you get Dak or Mayfield or Goff on this team? That would really upgrade your quarterback core, at least production wise.
I'm always going to be on page with trading for Dak. So
yeah, is there a team that's in
sort by content
land? This guy is Knicks. I'm trying to find a team that has assets like that.
Just simply sort by the best quarterback course. What's destined for have?
That guy is Dak, but he is. I mean, this guy has Mayfield and he has running back help. Could you Could you go after Mayfield and Javonte Williams for a receiver? Right?
Yeah. Sorry, this is a crazy comment by
I need you to lock in here, brother.
Sorry.
Mayfield, Javonte Williams for Rome Odunze?
Mayfield,
like
Javonte Williams
plus, potentially.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. Would give you a depth running back to be able to compete with. You would give you Dak. Maybe
Mayfield.
at that point too. I mean, we just mentioned Jefferson. If you trade Neighbors in that deal for a running back, if you acquire Dak, then I would see, hey, like a lot of people have Jefferson over Lamb in Dynasty, which I don't agree with. But if you could make that flip straight up to someone, I think you could.
Again, it was Mayfield that he was going after, not Dak.
You mentioned Dak too. That's why.
Yeah, but the guy was Dak only has 2 quarterbacks, and Dak's one of them, and he's competitive. So he's probably not going to trade Dak. But
sorry, my apologies. I thought it was the Dak team that you were referencing. Okay, Baker Mayfield plus Javonte Williams. Let's go back to you. What do you say? Odunze plus what?
Odunze. I mean, this is the guy that he was referring to for St. Brown. Maybe he's interested in Ferguson or Kraft, for example, because he said, "Oh, I can give Kraft and Ladd maybe for St. Brown." So maybe this guy's interested in Kraft.
Expand the deal then. Say, hey, what about Amarna, Javonte, Baker? I give you Kraft, McConkey, and Neighbors.
Yeah, that's not a bad call. Or maybe you throw a 28 first in there because he's maybe trying to rebuild or something along those lines. I think that would make some sense. So yeah, we give you a couple different options. I don't think this is a 2.0. It is not, but hopefully you got some trade value out of that, because I do think you got a really good chance of turning this into a really solid competitive team.
And Zach, truthfully, if you have any questions, just follow up with us. I mean, we've talked frequently before in terms of advice. You messaged us on Twitter. Like, feel free to send a follow up. Like, hey, speaking of the team that you reviewed on stream, I got this deal in my inbox, or I can send this deal out, or this manager showed interest in this type of structure. Like, just keep us updated with that, and we can help you out.
Also, Sebastian, I think there's usually people in our Discord in the join a league section that are often saying, hey, I have an orphan in this league, or hey, we're starting a league or whatever. So maybe stay tuned to that, because we'll have a listener league, multiple listener leagues probably next year to stay tuned to. But there are people in our community filming leagues, and specific. If I could shout out Domain specifically, I know their community forms a lot of leagues. So if you're specifically looking just to get in a league, it doesn't have to be our community. Check the Domain section of the Discord. There's probably people forming leagues all the time in there. So
in mentioning that, shout out with Domain. I think it's really creative. What they do is basically leagues will fill, and then a certain person in that league might say, hey, like if you want content for today, like you can draft my team for me. So what they do is Nathan will control a team, or Avery will control a team. They'll hop in the live Dynasty draft and draft amongst the people.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's really cool. I mean, I wish we thought of that idea first.
It's a great idea.
We'd be ripping them off if we did it, but
I like slow Dynasty drafts, so that's the only difference.
I know, yeah. I don't like fast drafts either, so it's not really practical for us, but I do think it's a really good idea, especially from a content perspective. It gives real Dynasty advice that way as well. Yeah, exactly. Domain, like I can say, we're humble enough to say that I think Domain does Dynasty content better than we do. I think in terms of the way that they've structured their community and stuff, obviously we disagree on certain opinions and whatnot, but the way they've structured their Dynasty community is the best on the site. I don't even think it's close.
Best on YouTube, period. Let's be real.
Best on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. Especially given the size of their audience relative to some other people's audiences.
Well, that's the thing in terms of raw account on the Dynasty account versus how many people are in the stream every time that they stream, how many people are watching the videos. Like they have one of the most efficient channels that I think you'll find on YouTube, period.
Absolutely. Yeah. And obviously Avery drives a Bentley, so they're obviously doing very well.
Before we get to the next team, because Corey kind of chewed me out for addressing some comments, let's get through some of the comments. You guys have been in here for a while.
They were just kind of going off the rails in the comment, and I wanted to try and stay on track.
Okay.
I also have a hard out at a certain point, so I wanted to make sure we were staying on track as well.
Spurs type tag. Yeah, just wanted to address, like, shout out Big Mike, still newer to the flock, coworker turned me on to Domain, YouTube suggested me Zach, and then Danny. Yeah, so shout out Mike, because he was always in the Domain and the Dynasty Land, but on the Fantasy Land channel, Zach. He was always in the comments, and I, whenever I have the chance, 7, 8, 9 p.m., because they're always streaming late at night, I'm chilled back, we're all done our work, like I'm constantly in the streams, and Big Mike is always in there, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, there's lots of I love that there's more crossover in our communities now that the Flock League is going on, because I feel like when we first started the site, all of us collectively were kind of just doing our own things. You know what I mean? Like, and now because we're in a league together, there's more collaboration. You and I were obviously on the land stream the other night. Like I've
Yep.
been on twice this week. You've been on twice this week. Like there's a little bit more
A
collaboration
lot of fun, by the
going
way.
on. Also, Mason wants attention so
course.
bad. Shout out to Mason here.
Shout out Mason. And Mason, that's always implied. Let's be real.
Also, bold of Nihal. I don't know how to say Nihal. I don't know how to say your name. I apologize.
He mentioned that he had a shift for Mary Brown's the other day, so I think he's a Canadian lad.
Shout out. Bold of you to call them 60 seconds, because even though I say that at the beginning of them, they are never 60 seconds. So
that's kind of the bit at this point.
It is the bit. That's why I keep doing it. And sometimes I'll throw in like definitely not 60 seconds at the beginning of it. We need update FSE Discord, get some chats to start leagues. That's maybe an off-season project, Jordan. We need to, me and Danny don't use our Discord admittedly enough as we should. Maybe we'll come up with some ideas to make it a more valuable resource for you guys. Yeah. But the best part about our site is that you can use all the, different channels of the other communities as well. So, but yeah, we have been kind of fumbling the bag a little bit on our section of the Discord.
And you guys appreciate the support, because genuinely, with the way people talk about us, with the way people reference FSC, we got the stigma on us.
Not people, Mason.
Comments too, and just generally like
admittedly
FSC,
we deserve it. We've sucked the last 2 years, but you and I are boomer bust fantasy players. Like 100%. I've won my home league twice in the last 6 years. I've come in last in the regular season already as well. Like I'm just the type of fantasy player that is going to take the big swings, is going to be okay with not winning if it means I went for the win. You know what I mean? So
I'm willing to swing my hammer, and sometimes it's going to get into a crowd that I'm not happy
I had to
with.
wear a t-shirt. You got to eat some pancakes. It's not like we're doing really crazy freaking punishments here. Like we're going for the gold, man. We're going to try and win this year. 100 grand up top. You think I'm going to be playing scared and drafting scared? Hell the fuck no.
Hey, I would rather finish last in the midst of mental illness if it means that I swung for first.
Exactly. The different flock channels are like watching Marvel movies, and then the flock is the Avenger. Gotta get the lore to understand the big picture. Yeah, man. I think we all do. We all bring something different to the table, which is obviously credit to Mason for bringing us all in here.
I gotta be Hulk, right? Like that's gotta be my comp, where it's like I'm chill, I'm Mark Ruffalo, and then something tips me off, and I turn into the Hulk.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't know anything about Marvel.
Give Corey a comp, guys. What was he like? Flash?
Yeah, someone give me a Marvel comp. Is Spider-Man Marvel?
Yeah, you could be Spider-Man.
Is Spider-Man Marvel though?
Yes. Also, I said Flash. Flash isn't even Marvel. It's DC.
I mean, Zach's got to be Batman, right? Or is that not Marvel?
That's DC, but he could be like Scarlet Witch. No, I'm kidding.
You got to be Thor with the hammer.
Got to be Thor with the. Also, that's
Lumberjack would be Thor if he was in the flock league. Whoops.
Also, he loses an eye with
Ant-Man.
That's just Ant-Man is crazy.
Making me Ant-Man or Aquaman would be disrespectful.
Man, this is fucking crazy.
Follow the Belfort arc too seriously. Yeah, I'm gonna be in jail in a year.
Yo, low key. I mean, it's easy who Avery is, right?
Is it
Iron Man, the fucking billionaire?
Oh yes.
Fucking Nathan would be. Nathan would be who?
Nathan's Aquaman.
Yeah, but he's not in Marvel.
Oh, is he not? Okay. I don't know anything about this stuff, but who's like a kind of irrelevant person in Marvel. Like that's Nathan.
The Groot? I'm kidding.
Is there somebody that Iron Man takes advantage of? Maybe that's
no.
Not like that, you sick fuck. I meant like just takes advantage of, like steals all his shit or something.
No. That sounded crazy at first. I mean, the answer is Spider-Man, to be fair.
Loki. Just Iron Man's assistant.
Man, I mean, like, happy? Would he be happy? Be happy? Not Gilmore?
Nathan's not Spider-Man. Come on now.
I could see it.
Hawkeye, someone said.
Dude, what do you mean he's not Spider-Man? He crushed a spider.
Oh, that is Spider-Man. Yeah, that is Spider-Man for sure. I need a comp. I need a real comp here. If Nathan's do I have anything? Like, I'm pretty accurate. Hawkeye's not bad.
Hawkeye's a good one. I'm trying to think. If I search up Captain America would be Mason, right?
Yeah, that's Mason, 100%.
100%. Let me see. Avengers.
I don't know any other Avengers.
I mean,
Hawkeye's irrelevant. Sounds like he's perfect for me. I was irrelevant for a solid year and a half there. So I think Hawkeye might be the answer here. Black Panther is Zach though, right?
No, yeah, right. That's a good point, actually.
Because he can't be Batman.
Can't be Batman. Can't be Batman. That's actually the comp. I can't lie.
Hawkeye might be me. Might be me. Also, I can light up a dartboard, man. Like I'm pretty accurate.
We gotta play darts.
Is there someone really nerdy in Marvel?
Maybe that's Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, is that me?
Well, because you always talk about ranges of outcomes, and his thing is like he closed his eyes and saw only one range of outcome where they actually won. So, like, yeah, you're kind of range of outcomes, man, to be fair.
I am true. That's true. Maybe I am Doctor Strange. Hawkeye wouldn't miss a shot by 0.92. Also,
that's tough.
Just taking stock here, I'm going to make some 0.92 merch for my team for me to wear because I don't think anybody else would care about it. But if you guys want to wear it, shoot me a DM and I'll make an extra one for you and bring it. If you're coming to the meetup, I'll bring it to you. I'm not shipping it to you because I don't think anybody wants it that bad. Reasonably, but if you're coming to the meetup and you want a 0.92 hat or something, I'll give it to you because that's probably what my team name is going to be this year. So
this is actually facts. We've been popping in on the chat or on the screen for everybody.
We're just whipping it out at this point.
Hey yo. Also, sorry to hear you got fired, but if I recall,
did you say you went to Mary Brown's or something?
No, the reason why I'm referencing it because I think on one of the comments, either on a stream or on a video, he's like getting seshing before my Mary Brown shift. We chilling or something. So, like, did you get fired for seshing before the shift? Is what I'm wondering.
Maybe. Also, this is foreshadowing, Scribbles. I'm Hawkeye. I'm calling myself Hawkeye now. Right when you forget about Hawkeye, he does something. That'll be this year because right when I'm forgotten and counted out, that's when I'm going to do something. The 0.92 reference is that's how much I lost my playoff spot by. Cameron Dicker kicked me out of the playoffs literally in overtime of week 14 or whatever game it was. And I was in the playoffs the entire season. From week 1 through 14, I was in the playoffs the entire season in the standings, and I lost my playoff spot by 0.92. And not by a loss, by 0.4. I didn't lose my matchup. I beat Sal in week 14. I lost by Thomas having 0.92 more points for than me.
Yeah, Mason might just be Shooter McGavin, and who knows? Maybe I'm on my Happy Gilmore arc. I got an anger management problem.
Mason's a cyberbully. That's funny.
I have extra in store for Danny's.
Yeah, no, Danny, just be prepared for Mason to make up 5 different things for your punishment.
This shit's gonna be insane.
The wizard meets the goat. Mason, Captain America, Danny, Hulk. Yeah, we might have to get some hate kickers. High key was 10 minutes late to shifts pretty consistently, and I got fired on my break. Got fried on my break. Sorry.
Typical. I mean, that's how you got to handle a shift. Are the two of you draft? So I'm actually drafting with one Sammy Stacks.
Danny's got to learn how to
one little combo.
How to make fantasy better again. So that's why Sammy's doing that. I actually do I just looked up what Doctor Strange looks like. He doesn't totally look unlike me, actually.
It's what's his name? Benedict Cumberbatch, right? Is that his name?
That's not a real name.
Isn't his name Benedict Cumberbatch? Yeah, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
That seems like a fake name, but sure.
Yeah, you thought I was just making that shit up.
Also, don't buy their bone-in chicken or coleslaw. That's a good tip. I just get the sandwich.
I'll remember that.
That's the only thing I've ever had at Mary Brown's is a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Get the Big Mary. Yeah, that's the sandwich, isn't it? The Big Mary?
Mason missed it in his chicken burger list. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for the Americans out there.
Big Mary's the sandwich, yeah.
They don't have Mary Brown's in America, no?
No, they don't.
Yeah. Missed out.
I don't have the Harvey's chicken sandwich either, which I would also put. Like, if I was doing a tier list myself, I agree that Mason had the best 2. I think Chick-fil-A and Popeyes are the best 2, but Mary Brown's and Harvey's are the next, are the A tier for me. I think they're the next best 2.
So Mason, when you're at my wedding in 10 years, you can expand the chicken.
When Danny marries CeeDee Lamb, that's what.
Married to the game, bro. There was like a report coming out. It was a Cowboys reporter at like 7 a.m. and he's like, so I just got to the field and there's only one guy out there right now working on the jugs machine, and it's CeeDee Lamb. And I said to Sammy, I'm like, we need this type of work ethic on our team. 7 a.m. at the jugs machine.
Hell yeah. Okay, let's get back on track here. We still got a number of reviews to get to.
You're right.
Storino, the Romeoville Degens, shout out to his team name. Kind of interesting. He is in purgatory, which is not where we want to be. And I think part of the reason he's in purgatory here is because he's 9th in picks. So he doesn't have his own 1 and 2 this year. the team itself is like pretty solid. I mean, you got Josh Allen and Drake May. Like that's obviously loaded at quarterback. Just need some general guidance is what he said. Part of me wants to sell Josh Allen, maybe Drake May as well, for a lot of value where my team is short, but I'm unsure if that's the right move or what should I do to fix this team. Would you go that route? Would you try and tier down from one of these top end quarterbacks to try and collect more assets at other positions potentially? Like if somebody offered you, I'm trying to find a guy with like a good tier down quarterback. Like if somebody offered you Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle, and a pick or something, or Jalen Hurts plus Chase Brown or something like that, would you consider moving off of one of these quarterbacks to help fill out the rest of your roster?
I would say so. The thing is that so I'm curious. Your list says purgatory, but this is one of the better purgatory teams I've seen.
I think it's just because he's 8th at wide receiver, 10th at tight end, and 9th at kicks. Like he's got like low value ranks in those positions.
Where's he rank at contending?
In contending, he's number 5 in contending. So he's when I switch to contending, it says he's all in. So again, it's a little bit strange in terms of the dynasty versus the contending. But generally, I think that you could use an influx of another strong producer at a different position.
Straight up, if you could pull off a deal, something along the lines of like, can we sort by contention and go to the bottom teams? I'm curious if they have any hammers just kind of leaking on the perks. I mean, this guy's got Jamar Chase.
Could you tier down from Allen or Drake May or into like Caleb Williams and one of his receivers?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Caleb, I mean, it might be tough to do Caleb and Chase, but Caleb and Devontae Smith should be able to be done in most leagues.
Does he want to do that, I guess, is the question. Like, because you're probably going to have to give up Drake because he's a rebuilding team. It's probably not going to be Allen, but you're contending, so I'd want to keep Allen anyways.
Yeah.
Would he do Drake May, maybe even plus a small piece? You got to throw it a 2 or something like that. Would you do Drake May in a future 2, like a 28-2 for Caleb Williams and Devontae Smith in his situation? I think I would, because I think you're getting a hammer at wide receiver. He also has 2 tight ends. Maybe you could try and add to the package and get Kraft out of the deal because you only have Kincaid as your top guy.
And I know for a fact this guy in that situation is probably thinking, I got a surplus at wide receiver. If I can spend that value at other positions, I want to.
Exactly.
What that rationale is going to be.
Also, James is correct. We only have 30 likes going on right now. If you guys want free free trade questions, you'll get to 50 likes and we'll give away some free ones. If you want a free team review, you need 75 likes for that. So make sure you hammer the like button.
100%. Get on that, guys. Get on that.
But yeah, I think he's got the right mindset. I would also look to tier down from one of these quarterbacks. The always challenging part about doing this, though, is you don't want to sell short on what a Josh Allen, what a Drake May represent in Dynasty, right? Like you don't want to just sell Josh Allen down to Bo Nix plus a small piece at running back or something just to say you tiered down from him. Like you need to get requisite value for what Josh Allen is in startup value, right? Like he's a 102 off the board. You need a 2nd round caliber Dynasty asset producer and a 4th round caliber quarterback asset or something like that.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, the question that I have for you, Corey, is would you even go a step further, a step cheaper, right? Who has like the Bo Nix, the Brock Purdy range at quarterback? I'm curious.
The other thing that's worth noting is this is a 10-team league, right? So those guys are going to have a lot of value still, but it's going to be easier to get quarterbacks in general, which means people aren't going to be as excited about going after big quarterback deals.
So can you just show me, though, who has like Purdy, who has Nix, who has guys kind of in that tier?
So I'm sorted by quarterback right now. This guy is Dart, Stroud type guys.
No, not those guys. The ones I mentioned.
This guy is Purdy.
Okay.
Purdy and Rice in a 10 team.
Purdy and Rice. I would even go a step further and see if you can do Purdy and Neighbors for May and a small piece back.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could also use a tight end too. So Pitts,
Purdy,
Neighbors,
and Bowers.
Purdy. What's Pitts, Neighbors, Purdy? What do you got to pay on top of
Pitts, Neighbors, Purdy?
Drake May or Allen on top of those 2 guys to get those other 2 guys out of the deal?
So what is this? A 10-team PPR?
10-team PPR, half tight end premium, start 11.
So I'm assuming probably if it's a start 11,
probably a 3 wide receiver, 3 flex.
2, 4, 7, 8, 11. Yeah, it would be 3 wide receiver, 3 flex, full PPR, 10-team super flex. Okay, so I'm going to put that into the calculator.
Yeah, go Neighbors, Purdy, Pitts, and then May on the other side of the deal. Because I think given this guy, this guy's got a competitive team. I think you could give him Allen instead if you wanted to do Allen.
Yeah, they're same tier for me. It does like I guess like the counter there would be like just keep Allen because even though he, technically Mays are 101 in your situation because you're trying to win and you don't have your 27-1, 24 or 25 points per game is going to be more valuable than 22. But we'll put it in.
Allen and Devontae Adams get that done?
I can see now. Okay, so Allen and
Devontae Adams for Neighbors, Purdy, and Pitts.
It comes out as a you win. If we can go
maybe
back
tack on a 28-2 or something to get it closer.
Yeah. Here, let me see. 2028
or give him Dowdle or somebody more competitive that he could use.
Yeah, like it's saying about the value would be a mid-first of difference here somehow.
Okay, all right. So you might have to give up a little bit more than that. I'd be comfortable giving up my 28-1 in that deal because you're still getting a productive quarterback. Maybe you don't put Adams in there. Maybe it's just Allen in the 28-1 and see if that gets it done kind of thing. But again, we're spitballing with some of these deals, but I do think you're on the right track as far as what you want to do. Trying to tear down from one of these quarterbacks is probably the right move. Again, just in a 10-team league, it may be challenging to do because you don't want to sell low on those quarterbacks. And let's say he can't do that, hypothetically. He can't sell the quarterbacks. Nobody wants to buy the quarterbacks. He can't do a tear down move. What would your next step be with a team like this? Let's say you've exhausted all avenues. You've done your due diligence. Nobody wants to do a tier up to Drake May or Josh Allen.
To keep it simple, probably just going to roll into the season, see what it looks like at the beginning portion. If you start off strong,
because if Kincaid and AJ Brown and Adams and some of the fringe assets you have are significant producers, like if AJ's dominating top 5 season, Adams top 12 receiver, Kincaid's breaking out top 6 tight end, you can win with this team.
Tate's an 8 to 9 target per game type of player in week 3.
Yeah. I think there's avenues to win with this team, even though it says purgatory when you sort by contending you're 5th and you're all in. I do think you can win with this game. And I wouldn't be opposed to shifting Tate into a competitive receiver of similar value. Like if you can get Nico Collins plus for Carnell Tate, I'd be fine doing it, assuming I'm already off to a good start at the beginning of the season or something like that. So yeah, I'd be okay with any one of those moves for sure. But yeah, I think you're in a bit of a challenging spot. There is some navigation that needs to take place here. If you could win a deal coming out of this, it would go a long way for the rest of your life cycle of this team generally. So we can move on to the next team here, which is from Bajags.
Shout out Bajags, by the way. He actually reached out on YouTube. He was in one of the replies and he said, hey, would love to support you. I was curious on the difference between the team review and the Dynasty Decisions 2.0. I explained the difference. I said, hey, we're going to talk about it on stream in both. The difference with the 2.0s, I'll send you a physical copy, a visual that you can keep track of. It's going to be dated and you're going to know when you submitted it. And he said he was going to submit the 2.0. So Bajags, I do recognize from the YouTube comments.
Yeah, there we go. So he is Hot Chub Time Machine. I mean,
let's go.
Helps being a Thanos and number 1 at every position except quarterback. Now, it is a super flex league or 2 quarterback league. So he does have some work to do at this position because, you know, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Malik Willis, I'd ideally want to be better than that. But he hasn't had his rookie draft yet either. So 201,
we got to drop 10 guys, by the way.
One thing I would like to float out there, I'm not a huge Ty Simpson guy, but if you can get up from your 201 into Ty Simpson range, I'd be okay adding Ty Simpson to this team as well.
Yeah, because you got like the firepower at least this year to get by a quarterback. Yeah, you're going to be weaker inherently, obviously, but Nix, Daniel Jones, Malik Willis, I'm confident I can get like 2 top 15 to 18 projections on a week in, week out basis with those guys.
Yeah, he also mentioned in the DMs, he said, not sure if I'm panicking on Jonathan Taylor. He just hasn't put together back-to-back good campaigns in a long time. We're on the same page.
You can move Taylor for a quarterback.
He also said, too, it's hard to find a good pivot to him where I can get production and insulation. Now, he mentions, like, could I go to Chase Brown? You could, but hypothetically, dude, you don't need another running back.
That's what I mean.
You can just pivot into a quarterback straight up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would definitely rather do that. Can you take Jonathan Taylor and how much would it cost you to get Brock Purdy?
Yeah, like I'm trying to see, like this guy has 3 quarterbacks. Maybe you go after Goff as a cheaper option. Brock Purdy's right here. This guy already has a good running back core. Maybe not him. This guy has Lawrence and Cam Ward.
Lawrence.
This guy could use JT so bad. If you offered him Jonathan Taylor and Malik Willis, can you get close to Trevor Lawrence with those 2 players? Because you're giving him a quarterback in return and you're getting him a running back upgrade.
Yeah, I think crystal clear that's going to be one of the suggestions in the 2.0. 100%.
Not only, and like if he might want Daniel Jones instead. Who gives a shit? Give him Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor for Trevor Lawrence. I would do that.
Rico Dowdle. Sorry, I said Rico Dowdle. You have Rico, or he has Rico Dowdle. He wants Kenny Gainwell, or he wants fucking Mark Andrews. He wants some fucking food.
Yeah, throw him an extra piece or an extra, like give him a 205 or something if you have to. Like, I don't really care.
Yeah,
like
all day.
You have the stack with Travis Hunter as well after you make that deal with Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence definitely sticks out as a good trade target for you. Seeing other quarterback needy team or quarterback heavy teams. This guy is actually in the opposite guy's position from last video. With
well,
I mean, you could go swing for one of these guys if you want to.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, if you can take who was his second quarterback before Malik Willis again? Daniel Jones.
Here, let's try and build a trade out for him. Let's go Josh Allen. He's a competitive team, so let's go for Josh.
Yep, and we will put Daniel Jones on the other side. What evens is out on this team? So let's look through the squad right now. Go to the other positions. I'm sure Daniel Jones for Josh Allen would say you're robbing.
But you could afford to lose Genty if you want to. If he wants a young running back to rebuild around.
How about this? Throw Taylor in there and then see what plus Taylor can get with.
The problem is this guy's team that has Josh Allen is probably looking to rebuild because he has nothing else other than those quarterbacks. So that's why I suggested Genty's a young.
What about Henderson?
Henderson.
And then a big time receiver, or
I mean, you could go if you wanted to keep Genty, you could go the JSN or Neighbors route instead.
What about Daniel Jones, Henderson, McMillan, and a pick or something? Like let's just see what the
Henderson, McMillan.
Because you can convince this guy. You're like, hey, listen, like you have these elite quarterbacks, but oh my god, I can give you all the depth in the world. Yeah,
it says fair trade with these three guys. Again, I'd be fine going any different direction you could with that. Because if you can get Josh Allen or Drake May, whatever one he wants to deal, I think he would deal Josh Allen because it looks like he's in a position where he can't compete. So he should want to deal the older quarterback of the two of them. Offering him McMillan plus to get to Allen, let's say McMillan plus, maybe he doesn't want a quarterback in return.
That's a good idea too. You can use the surplus you have with Warren, attach it to a guy like Jonathan Taylor, and maybe see if you can get after like a Gibbs or a Bijan.
Yeah, you could do that. I just don't think he needs the running back help, to be honest. I think I'm just solving quarterback and doing nothing else. Like, and again, maybe that guy's like, I would never sell Josh Allen unless you make Neighbors or JSN a part of the deal. And I think that's fine. If you want to give him Neighbors plus a small piece for Josh Allen, I'm comfortable doing it, given the strength of your receiver core. Because then the other thing you could consequentially do after is if you are worried about Jonathan Taylor and you have sold Malik Neighbors, you could sell Taylor for an equivalently valued receiver after that.
Does that guy need a tight end?
Like, who's that guy's tight end? This guy?
Yeah.
He has Kraft. I mean,
like maybe he's worried about Kraft coming off the knee.
He also has the 107, which in our rankings is Kenyon Sadiq. It's possible he's in the range for him.
But by consensus, though, I think it would probably be Concepcion.
Half tight end premium. I mean, he could be open to taking Sadiq. I think it's possible he would take Sadiq there. I don't think you'll get anything done with Warren, but you could float it out there. You could see if Warren would be a part. You could also even just do a Warren for Kraft swap as well, like as part of the deal.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. Obviously, like that would be like he says, "Oh, I need more value. Like, what else can you add?" And you'd be like, "I'll throw you a Warren for Kraft swap in there."
Yeah, that guy's probably competitive. I'm trying to find if there's anybody else that has quarterback help that you. I mean, this guy has Hurts, Dak, and Kyler. He's competitive, but could you trade this guy Jonathan Taylor for Jalen Hurts straight up, legitimately? Because he could use the running back. He has quarterback depth.
So I'd be willing to do that. What I was thinking, can you trade? I mean, because this guy does need a running back, and he's pretty good at quarterback. Can you trade Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Malik Neighbors for Dak and CeeDee Lamb? And then maybe you get a piece back or something.
Yeah, this is the way faster way of doing this, by the way. We did it the long way earlier. What was it? Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor, Malik Neighbors.
Says you lose.
So maybe you get something back then. Let's go on that guy's team. Maybe it's a depth running back or something. Like scroll over.
Pollard, Montgomery, Javonte.
Yeah, Javonte would be perfect.
I mean, he's not very strong at running back though, so you'd probably not be able to get a running back from him. But I'd be fine with AJ Brown too.
Yeah, just maneuver and say, hey, listen, like you need another strong running back on your team, and I would have interest in the Dak Lamb stack if you have interest. You have a surplus at quarterback. You need a running back. I need a quarterback. We're perfect trade partners.
Yeah, exactly. I think pivoting Taylor into a quarterback if you can, or just going balls to the wall after a Drake May, Josh Allen, like one of those guys has, and then, reshuffling some assets if you need to. Like if you're way too strong at running back after that and you have to pivot to wide receiver, you can do that. I mean, in a 10-team PPR start 11, like you're going to be so deep at running back that they're going to be your entire flexes. And as we've talked about from a redraft angle, we do think it's very optimal to be strong at running back this year. So I think you have a really, really strong structure for this team. And yeah, I was humoring Danny a little bit there. I don't think I necessarily feel the need to go after Dak and CeeDee Lamb, but if that's what you want to do, then that's totally fine with me.
He needs a quarterback. And again, if you can work the stack in there, why wouldn't you at least try
it? I'd be fine personally just going after Dak and leaving it at that. But I know what you mean. If you wanted to go after the stack, you can.
Yeah, I mean, again, like obviously I'm biased, but I don't think going after one of the best stacks in fantasy is ever a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea. I would prefer to keep Neighbors, so I would have just gone after Dak and Dak alone. You could go after this guy too. If you wanted just a cheap quarterback option, you could go after Baker Mayfield. He's an upgrade to some of the backups that you have. But yeah, lots to do with this team. I mean, Bajags, you have a Thanos. Like, go buy the best assets in fantasy. That's always our advice to people who have Thanos. So let's keep it rolling here. Moving on to Slaatsquatch. I just want to put the timestamps in so that it is easy to find everything. Slaatsquatch has, let me go to the top of the thing here. This is a league with some FSE classics in there. I see BD Bacon and I see Ginger Ale. Ginger Ale with a Thanos here. Shout out to Lumberjack. Building a Thanos in this league, and Slaatsquatch has got to deal with him. He did say, am I able to use this voucher for my 2.0? So I'm pretty sure Slaatsquatch probably renewed in March or something like that and didn't have a 2.0 because that wasn't the promotion at the time.
Slat, you either have me on Discord or on Sleeper, either or. If there's any context you want, like, oh, I tried this didn't work, I tried that didn't work, leave it in there and I'll include that in the 2.0. Or for that matter, you reached out on Flock, like leave it in the Flock DMs as well. Like, hey, this is my 2.0. Here's some context.
I would say treat it as his 2.0 for now, since he said that in the message.
No,
yeah.
I will. I'm saying though, like you know how to reach out to me if you have any context. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, the context here is that AJ knows what he's doing and he has a Thanos. So that's obviously a problem for Slaatsquatch. He said, mainly just looking for assessment and course of action with the state of this team. I'm thinking I should be tiering up considering the depth that I have. Interested to see what packages you'd send away to possibly get an elite asset. So obviously he's looking for very specific advice here. Let's get some elite assets on this team is essentially what he's looking for. Who sticks out to you as good tier up options? Like, we did a whole video on this. Justin Jefferson was in that video, so that's definitely somebody we could use. Chris Olave was also in that video. That's definitely somebody we could use, especially after the big extension. Kenneth Walker is also a good asset, in my opinion, to use to tier up into a Genty or into a HN or into a Gibbs or a Bijan.
Yeah, realistically, the majority of your moves are going to be from a micro perspective because, quite frankly, when I'm looking at your team,
like you don't have to do anything if you don't have.
But, well, that's what I mean. It's like you don't have your first and second, so it's not like I'm going to suggest like, oh yeah, take your first plus Nico and go get fucking X player here or Y player here. Like, I think the majority of your moves have been made. I'll have a couple suggestions in terms of like, oh, I prefer this guy in redraft a little bit more than that guy. Maybe see if you can make this type of pivot. Or, oh, I think you can take one of your wide receiver depth pieces plus a running back and consolidate here. Like, that would be like very minimal stuff. But overall, I mean, from a pure structural perspective, you're top 5 at every position. Like, straight up, if we sort by contender, AJ, sure, he might be the number 1 in this team. He probably will be the number 1 contender.
Oh, he's not.
No, you are. Wow. Okay, so I'm assuming.
So AJ must just have picks then.
Yeah,
he's loaded to the brim with picks. So yeah, that actually kind of changes my perspective just a little bit.
Go win.
Yeah, go win before AJ becomes a monster. Would be my first course of action. Yeah. And guys like Carnell Tate, awesome long-term asset. I'm pivoting him into a competitive running back or receiver if I can.
Yeah, I agree. I love Carnell Tate, but can you take him plus a little piece and go and explore at the Genty types?
The Achan, can you get Chase Brown and a significant plus in return? Can you get something, James Cook and a plus or something like that? That's the direction that I would go, because you have Lamar, you have Herbert, you have Hampton Lee, you're ready to go, man. This is a first round redraft asset. This is an early second round redraft asset, first round redraft asset, late second round redraft asset. Like, go upgrade at tight end, maybe. I'd be a little worried about the production you have with Kraft and Kittle, but if you're not worried about the injuries, then you could obviously roll with those guys, no problem.
Your trade question was at the beginning of the stream, if I'm not mistaken. And,
perfect. If you go back at the beginning of the stream, it should be timestamped that says trade questions. You're somewhere in the first 10 minutes of the stream or so, if you want to go check that out. And looking forward to the Flock League draft as well.
It's going to be fun. Going to be fun.
Going to be August 16th, I believe, or August 15th that we're drafting the team. Hopefully the vlog will be out some early 20s week, maybe a couple days after. Hopefully the editors cook and get it out August 18th or 19th or something like that. But yeah, going to be a lot of fun. Let me look at some of these pipsqueaks and shit. Can you snipe some great assets from them? JT available if you wanted to go after him. We're a little lower on JT. Genty and Puka on this guy's team. I mean, these are the guys that I'm going after. Like, can I offer Carnell Tate, Kenneth Walker, and Chris Olave to this guy to see if I can get Genty and Puka off of him? Because again, you're just trying to upgrade your starting lineup points at this point.
Yeah, throw shit at the dartboard, see what sticks, realistically consolidate where you can, and make sure your main priority is trying to win in the next 2 years, or at the very minimum in one of the next 2 years, because it's going to be very tough probably come 2028 when AJ actualizes all those picks.
Yeah, and this guy here has Chase Brown and Devontae Smith. Just from a micro redraft standpoint, I think they're undervalued redraft assets, and they're not going to cost you an absolute shit ton on the dynasty market either. So you could definitely go after them. This guy is Bijan, Chase, and Smith.
Disco dust.
I mean, he's got a good team. He probably thinks he can compete, and I would kind of agree with him just because of how good his high-end assets are. But if he is in the mindset where he needs more depth, you can offer him Kenneth Walker, Chris Olave, and a piece, and see if that gets you Bijan and McLaurin or something like that. Like, I'd be totally fine making a move, sacrificing some immediate short-term or long-term value potential or age, and try and get as many points as you can on this team.
And also Rome, judging by your fade list that you added me in the other day, I feel pretty cozy with the fact that if you're in front of me, that the Cowboys will fall. And I'm making a joke. Did you see it was a troll, but he was like, my fade thread for this year, and like the 7 rounds, it was all Cowboys.
That's funny. But yeah, I think Slat, you're in a really good spot. DD 2.0 will obviously give you more insight onto what specific moves that you can make.
Pretty telling that the number 1 and 2 in dynasty value just so happened to be the FSC watchers.
Yeah, well, and BD Bacon's also
BD Bacon top 4. I didn't see him in the league.
Guy himself, and he's number 4 in value. So
I actually didn't see him in the league. So yeah, 3 of the top 4 in the rankings are FSC watchers. So that goes to show.
And I don't really recognize any of these other guys. So shout out to the FSC boys for dominating the league. DPort here, which is a crazy name when you really think about it. First name is crazy. Dak Attack. Hey there. Appreciate all the content y'all put out. It looks like I'm a fringe contender at best. What direction would you take with this team? There's a few heavy hitters up top. So you could see that guy's name. I'm not going to repeat it. Dak Attack here. Strong contender. So I look at this team and it's a little misaligned. I can't lie. Like your quarterbacks, Fernando Mendoza and Cam Ward, going along with a pure competitive guy like a Dak Prescott. You got to pick a lane with this team would be my first piece of advice.
So funny because I was always going to say, Corey, what is my main thing I always say when I see a team like this? It's pick a lane. Brother, do you want the Fernando Mendoza, the Scottaboo, the young assets? Or do you want to fucking win? Like, we can't be having a mix and match.
Pick a lane, Bennis. Pick a lane, Bennis. That's what you need to pick.
It's like, we got Mendoza. Okay, we're going young. We got Dak. Okay, we're trying to compete. We got Cam Ward. Oh, we're young. Like, where are we at? Like, you got to make a decision with this team. So, again, top teams in this league, that's a good, like, let me start by contending really quick. You're number 5 in the contending value. I mean, you don't have, like, it's not like you have 3 extra ones that you could make a big move and big splash and go after a significant running back producer. If you had to go one direction with this team, would you go for the win or would you rebuild it or retool it to some degree? Buddy, you know me by now.
You know that rebuilding and retooling means that the 2 Cowboys are coming off this roster, right?
Yeah, obviously. You know how I am. In Dynasty, unless I'm 100% certain that I can be at least in a strong running, one of the favorites for a top 2 seed in the league.
This guy is Gibbs, Bijan, and McCaffrey.
You're not beating him, bro. He's got fucking 75 points per game from his running backs.
And this guy is Chase, St. Brown, and Jefferson, which are 3 of the top 5 receivers in fantasy. And this guy's team is third best in contending, and he has JT, Cook, Smith, and Jigba, Rice, and Smith.
So you know what you do? Okay, what's the dichotomy of the bottom teams? Or do we got strong rebuilders or purgatory? You know what you do? You go to one of those
all picks.
Yeah, outside of him, he knows what he's doing. It's also a 14-man league, which makes me even less trying to compete, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you go to this guy. No, he's got picks. Okay, what about the guy above? Who does this guy have? Like just his own picks? He traded his 27-1. He
And
traded
28.
his 28-1. Okay,
He's
he's
got
not
a bunch of 2s. We know a certain guy that plays Dynasty that way.
Yeah. Oh my God, bro. There's not even a mark.
This is desolate at the bottom, bro. This is desolate down here.
Who are these guys trying to compete against? Each other?
I don't know. This guy's team is the definition of mid. He doesn't have his picks either, dude. Jesus Christ. This guy. Perfect. Here, right here. Cam Scattaboo. Interest to this guy? Probably. He's already got Malik Neighbors, and he doesn't have any running backs. Could you go after his 27-1 for Cam Scattaboo?
Bro, go after his 27 and 28-1 and add 2 contending assets. Add 3 contending assets.
Yeah, give him Michael Wilson, Cam Scattaboo, and Ramondre Stevenson or something like that, and see if you can get after some of his pick capital or whatever. Yeah. Like, this is pretty much going to be your best option. You're not a purgatory team, like you're 5th in contending value, so you're not technically purgatory by definition.
May as well be with the teams at the top.
You and I view like outside of the top 5 in contending as more like, I'm either making a move to get higher than 5 or I'm going down and retooling the team for a year. That's kind of our attitude. We don't like going into the season being 5th or 6th in contending value.
Obviously, this isn't true because theoretically, the more asset value on your team, like the better off you are, because if you're an active manager, you can get pick capital. But I would almost rather be a pipsqueak from an alignment perspective than be a weak balanced or a purgatory team. Just because if you're weak balanced or purgatory, it means that you don't truly know what lane to pick. When you're a pipsqueak, you got no fucking choice. You're going to get Jeremiah Smith. You're going to get fucking
it's the productive struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would definitely be on the same page as Danny. Find a contending team that needs a quarterback and needs a wide receiver upgrade. Let's say this guy right here could use Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, and you can go after his first for the next 2 years, get younger at the other positions as well, if possible. This one might be challenging because he doesn't really have anything to give you in return. Maybe you could go after Achane, I suppose. But find a team that has the requisite young pieces. Like this guy, for example, has Pickens already. Could you offer him the onslaught, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb for Caleb Williams plus?
I'd be licking my lips if I'm that
something
guy.
Like that to get yourself more aligned with your winning window. Because Cam Ward and Mendoza, perfect QB 2 and 3 for you long term. If you pivoted Dak and Lamb into a Caleb Williams plus, you'd have a quarterback 1 long term for yourself. Nakua's young enough that you could keep holding him. Maybe you sell him in season to a contender if you really want to. Wilson, maybe you sell in season to a contender, but guys like Michael Wilson and Calvin Ridley and Scattaboo and Stevenson and Chuba Hubbard and those types of guys, like I'm offloading those players off the game for sure.
I'd even go like Dak, Lamb, Wilson, and Scattaboo and get freaking Caleb Williams and Colston Loveland or something.
Yeah, and this is a 2.0, so DPort's going to have some decisions outlined for him. But yeah, this is a situation where we're both definitely in agreement here. We're going after the long-term play as opposed to the short-term dopamine hit of making the playoffs and getting wiped in the first round, because that's probably what will happen. And in 14-team league too, it's probably harder to make the playoffs, probably only a 6-man playoff field still. And if you can't hold a kick, you can't win in the playoffs.
Speaking of Romo, man, you saw the cam footage, right?
I did. Does that mean Greg Olson and stuff are going to be the number 1 CBS broadcast team now?
JJ Watt is stepping up to play to go with Jim Nantz.
Are they still the number 1 team though, or are they going to be the number 2 team now with Olson being as good as he is?
I don't truly know, but all I do know is when JJ Watt was on, like he's actually really fucking good, man.
Yeah, and Romo started out very strong, but then he just started to get Mahomes glazy.
Yeah, he got so corny, man.
Yeah,
and I'm saying this as a Mahomes, and I'm saying this as a guy who fucking grew like I don't think you guys realize, like, my attachment to Romo, like that was my first fucking quarterback. Like that was like my guy growing up. Like the kid lad looked at Romo and he's like, that is the fucking franchise of our.
It's depressing. I didn't have a franchise quarterback until like 3 years ago for my team.
Did you get any overlap with like the Garcia?
No, they weren't. They were never franchise quarterbacks. Like the franchise quarterback that was the first franchise quarterback for me was Josh Freeman, who was not a franchise quarterback. And then after Josh Freeman, it was Jameis, because there was like a 2-year window where Jameis looked like he was going to be a franchise quarterback. But yeah, Tom Brady is actually the first franchise quarterback technically that I grew up watching, because I was too young for Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer and shit. So
makes sense, brother.
But anyways, we could probably move on from this team. I would say DPort's got some moves to make. Like we said, we're probably trying to tear this down, retool it it's not a long-term, tear everything down, sell everything type of team, but you're going to need to be 2028 focused, I would say, probably with the team like this.
Yeah, you got avenues for getting your value back, but realistically, we just got to know that we're not competing this year, most likely. So if you can transition some of your age demographic, get 24, 23 and younger, probably going to be your best aspect or your best avenue. Sorry.
Yeah. About a few months from now, I'd like to see a couple more first round picks and a couple less older players on a team like this for sure.
Also,
Chef.
Crazy comment, by the way. He couldn't even clutch the field sobriety test.
That's crazy. Bush, do you wish the Bucks paid Baker? No, I'm actually glad they didn't, to be honest. And not because I don't like Baker Mayfield. He's my damn quarterback, dude. I'll follow that guy into the gulag of, NFC South 1 p.m. windows like we're going to be seeing this year. But I don't think he should be paid because I do think ultimately he is more of a fringe top 12 starting quarterback than he is a guaranteed locked and loaded top 5 quarterback that you always pay no matter what. So I want him playing well before I pay him for sure. And he didn't play well down the back half of the season. He physically lost us some games by being injured and playing hurt.
Well, it's totally the price thing. If he was asking for like the Sam Darnold contract, you'd be like, okay,
even
no problem.
Then, though, dude, I would prefer the flexibility of him getting hurt. Like if he gets hurt again or plays terribly this year, I'd prefer the flexibility of being able to draft a quarterback than being locked into a quarterback who's in the Tua Tagovailoa situation a year from now.
Well, that's the thing. It would have to be like you're getting enough surplus value to be able to make that move. Like Darnold's making 33.5 across the next 3 years. Like that's a very solid value. The difference, though, is when Baker's like, I'm worth $50+ million. It's like, okay, are you going to play $50+ million for Baker?
As much as I like Baker, he's not worth that. So you got to do what the Cardinals and the Dolphins were too scared to do, which is let him play the final year on his deal. And if he blows up, then you pay him $50 million or $55 million or whatever it costs. But you got to make him earn that shit. And again, I think he can. I think he's that good. I think he can play like a top 10 quarterback on any given season. He just has to go out and do it before you pay him that because again, if he was in a contract year coming off the 2024 season, he'd be a $50 million quarterback right now. He'd have Brock Purdy's contract or whoever's contract you want to use as an example.
Well, let's set some precedents here. I think personally, the max I'd be willing to give Baker, the very max, and it would be on short term, would be the contract that Daniel Jones signed. 2 years, $85 million around that, give or take. Then at that point, it's like, okay, maybe for 2 years, it looks like we overpaid him. We would have a quick out, or vice versa. He outplays that deal. You can talk about an extension a year from now.
Of course, yeah. Ultimately, 2 years down the road, it's gonna look like a bargain. Like Mayfield's contract now looks like a bargain. And when we paid him it, people are like, is Baker Mayfield really worth $35 million a year or whatever? We're paying him $32 million a year right now. It's like, dude, $32 million or $35 million a year is peanuts for starting quarterbacks.
Very good value. Like for reference. There's a ton of skill players outside of the quarterback position that are making more than $32 million per year. I mean,
Mayfield's like the 18th or 20th highest paid quarterback in the league. And when you compare him to players who are not on their rookie contracts, he's like literally one of the most underpaid starting quarterbacks in football.
DK's making the same amount a yearly that he is. Like realistically, DK Metcalf's making 33 per.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
So for reference, when he says 50 million plus, and the reason why we say that disclaimer, we can't get there. The quarterbacks that are currently making $50+ million in AAV, obviously yearly spending at the position is going to be different. Each contract is going to be structured differently. The quarterbacks that are making 50+, Mahomes, number 1, $63.1 million per year. Dak, number 2, $60 million per year. Matthew Stafford, number 3, 55. Love, 55. Lawrence, 55. Burrow, 55. Allen, 55. Then it goes to Goff at 53. Purdy at 53. Justin Herbert at 52.5. Lamar Jackson at 52, Jalen Hurts at 51, and then the highest paid non-quarterback right now is Will Anderson at $50 million per.
Yeah.
Can you tell me with a straight face that
Hurts, Purdy are all in the same camp as Mayfield and that they can play like top 10 quarterbacks on any given season, but are they actually routinely always top 10 quarterbacks in the league? It'll fluctuate. Maybe they'll be QB 8 one year, maybe they'll be QB 13 another year.
And to me, those guys have established such a higher floor than Mayfield. And on top of that, like a guy like Trevor Lawrence, you can say, oh, Mayfield's more proven than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, you're betting on the high end too.
Yeah, you give him Goff's contract if he plays well. Goff is the exact comp for Mayfield.
That's fair.
They're exactly the same type of player. They can play like top 10 quarterbacks, but there is a little bit more worry there because they're not the high end. Well, I mean, Mayfield's got a better arm than Goff, but like they're not. We know they're not. Herbert or Lawrence in terms of their tool.
100%.
But anyways, we can keep
appreciate
rolling
Chef.
here.
I'm in this league.
Yeah, you are. To infinity and beyond. Took over an orphan 2 or so years ago. Is this the Ladster League?
Yep, Ladster League.
Okay, so this is a best ball league. What do I do? Do I throw the white towel in, play for third? Okay, so to infinity and beyond. So you guys are obviously up here. Very good, very good. So you guys can see that he probably isn't going to compete with a team like Danny or Marcos, and even like Chan Hughes has got a pretty good team. Alave Garden, pretty good team. I mean, these
AJ.
guys, you guys are kind of in the position. This is not a fun place to be in Dynasty, because I've been in this position before. This is the position I'm in the listener league.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of just hoping on the downfall of one of the top 2 teams so that you can somehow sneak out a win in the second round and get lucky and win the championship that way. Can it happen? Of course, anything can happen. But what are your inherent odds of it actually happening?
For context, me and Marco have been in the championship the last 2 years, and I have been in the championship the last 3, and have won the league the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. So again, this is a league where it's going to be challenging to compete. Could Hampton, Taylor, Rice, Flowers, BTJ carry you there? Sure. So that's why my advice to you would probably be, let's see what happens during the season. Because if Kyler's having a top 8 season and JT's going ballistic again, you can win the championship. It's just going to be hard because in best ball too.
It's a best ball, yeah.
Yeah, you're weaker at running back depth. You're weaker behind Garrett Wilson at wide receiver. Like, I would actually be more on the side of trying to go and get your first round pick back if you can, if it's not too expensive for you. But that being said, if you go and you go, hey, I'm a strong contender. If I sort by contending rankings, I'm number 5. I'm going to go into the season and see what happens before I do anything rash. I think that's a reasonable stance to have given your team.
And just for reference too, I'm very weak at tight end, but if you click on my team from a best ball perspective, look at the depth at every other position.
Yeah, like having QJ and Javonte as guys that are like the 5th best option at their respective positions, and all they have to do is give you 5 or 6 spike weeks throughout the year. It's going to be challenging when you basically need Taylor and Hampton to be like legendary running backs to even compete.
Yeah, I would agree. So, I mean, again, it's tough for giving my perspective because obviously I'm like one of the teams you're trying to take down. Like perfectly blunt, the way it works out for you is my team completely shits itself.
It has a lot of injuries or whatever the case is. So yeah, if I were in your position, Chef, I can't lie to you. I would, I did sell my 27-1 and Ted McMillan for Hampton and Taylor. I think that's a fine trade.
Good process
value. I think when you did that, you immediately removed some flexibility from your situation. Because had you had McMillan in your first right now, you could be like, okay, you know what? And you submitted this review. I would say, dude, you should keep selling stuff. You should, sell Rice. You should sell Flowers. You should sell Wilson. You should get as many draft picks as possible because, yeah, like the only way you get a team like Danny's or a team like Marco's is generally by hitting on rookie picks. So, yeah, like it's hard to get teams like that unless you're going to count on bending a couple guys over in trades. You pretty much have to just hit on players like Danny probably drafted Puka Nacua, probably drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, probably drafted Bijan Robinson because I know this league's been around for like 5 years.
And I do want to show a little bit of respect here too. So Marco took over this league as an orphan. Actually, the team that he took over left it in a very good state. Unfortunately, he had to leave the league because at the time he was accepting a role on a college football team. And the reason why I want to shout him out is we lost diabetic Tyler within the last month. He unfortunately had succumbed to complications from his diabetes. So I just wanted to make that disclaimer. He was originally in this league. Very, very fun to talk to. Very, very passionate about fantasy football. So wanted to show him some respect because clearly
this is his team, technically,
Marco took over the team from him, yes.
Yeah. So again, going to be challenging to compete with a team like that. So if I were in your position, again, I would be of the opinion that there's like a 70% chance that I'm going towards a rebuild. But on the off chance that everything breaks right for you, you could compete in this league. And because you're 5th in the analyzer and you're almost guaranteed a playoff spot based on the state of the rest of the teams in this league, I don't think it would be like,
it's best ball. Anything can happen.
I don't think it would be proper of me to say you should just rebuild when there's 5 teams that can't compete. No chance.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, again, you have enough talent and realistically it's a good enough team in a best ball league where you get Minungai without Swift in a week. You get Dobbins, especially early season hammer, Rashad White. Like you have legitimately, even outside of your pure rank starting lineup, probably 8 or 9 guys that easily on a week-to-week basis can spike off 15 plus PPR points, 18 plus PPR points.
Yeah, but you will need like Kyron to go down or, Swift to go down. Like for the true nuts of your team to really come through, you're going to need some things to go really well for you. So again, you want to bet on that? There's like a 10% chance you could win this league, but there's like a 90% chance you'd have to rebuild this time next year. So that's why I'm going to be really, really harsh on myself come week 4 when I have to make a decision, or week 6 when I have to make a decision or something like that.
For sure. Either way though, very well structured. And it's just like, me and Marco are the anomalies here. Outside of that, if you look at the rest of the teams, you're clearly one of the best.
Yeah. It's just a tough situation to be in. And again, I know the feeling because I've been in leagues where there's one juggernaut like that and get faded. That's what Scott's team was like for years. In the listener league, Danny's team is like that. So you go, I'm a competitive team. I'm definitely a playoff team, but I'm not going to win anything. So you're like, what the hell do I do? I don't want to just rebuild. Everybody's rebuilding. It's going to be harder to rebuild than it is to contend because everyone's competing for the same draft picks. 7 or 8 teams realize that they can't compete. So they go, I'm going all in on draft picks. So then no one wants to sell draft picks. So that's the hard part about being in leagues like that, is that it's actually hard to get picks at that point.
Well, I'll share it. So the best comparable, and this is actually also a best ball league, so it's an easy reference. But thankfully, I won the championship with this team a couple of years ago, so at least my next couple buy-ins are paid in. But like this is a solid team contending this year overall. Yeah, I'm weaker to wide receiver value, but McLaurin, Adams, Sutton, Jennings, like this is a solid like best ball lineup. And even still, I'm looking at it like, but Flett and Marco are.
Well, dude, look at my team. My team's even better than yours, and I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't compete with this team. And this team's not bad. I'm like, okay, I got Jefferson, I got Harrison, I got Warren, I got Henderson. Like, I got a decent team. I just can't compete with Flett and Marco's teams. And I'm trying like hell to try and sell, Jefferson for a younger receiver to make sure I stay flexible and that kind of thing. And some leagues are just like this, where it's like everybody knows they can't compete, so they're all trying to rebuild.
Well, that's the thing. It's like 3 down. You look at these bars; they're relatively well proportioned, and then you have the clear top 2 right here. Like that's kind of like the same, like
it's the same dynamic
with the FSE league.
I feel like when there's only one team like that, people convince themselves more that they can compete. But when there's 2, they go, I don't think I'm going to be able to, so I'm not going to buy your Justin Jefferson in my case, or I'm not going to buy your whoever else asset that you're trying to sell.
For reference, I will say this: I'm far more willing to compete with a weaker team relative to the top in best ball. In lineup leagues, I'm far more likely to get proactive and strip it down. In best ball, it's like,
spike weeks. Like if you had, like, for example, my Debbie Degeneracy team, if you look at my contending value last year versus my actual, like I won back-to-back championships, hitting on Michael Wilson types or whatever caused me to win the league because best ball Michael Wilson types are really valuable. But before the season, Michael Wilson wasn't really much of anything. So nobody would have been like stacking him up in many fantasy leagues. So that really helped me out. Rubber Bucky, Kyle, 1999 here. He says, do I trade Bucky? So we'll talk about that. So Bucky, a third for the 110, Kittle and Jalen McMillan. This year's 110, keep in mind. So we're talking Ty Simpson, Omar Cooper Jr., Casey Concepcion, but most likely Omar Cooper Jr. or Ty Simpson is the 110 in this year's class. So that would be the trade plus Kittle and McMillan for Bucky Irving. We'll talk about that in a second. He said, I asked because I want to draft Price at the 105. And I'm afraid at 205, Jonah Coleman won't be there. So you want to take Jonah Coleman over Ty Simpson. I guess it's a 10-team league. Maybe you could convince me of Jonah over Ty in that. I'd still probably take Ty Simpson there.
So question is, how much would it cost to move up from the 205 for Jonah Coleman if you really want to target him? I don't think it'd be too expensive. And
you also probably, like 205 is actually the 203 in a 12-team league. So you could probably get up to 201, which is actually the 111 where we have Jonah Coleman ranked pretty easily.
Can you trade Matthew Golden straight up for that pick?
Probably.
Like there are some real like Matthew Golden people out there.
Woody Marks on top of 205 for 201. Like somebody would do something like that if they need a running back and they're thinking like, oh, the board sucks. Woody Marks was decent as a rookie, that kind of thing. So the other thing too is like, I look at this team, Danny, and I go, this is a competitive team, man.
100%. It's a juggernaut.
I wouldn't even draft Jadarian Price. I would spend the 105 on a competitive asset.
That's a very good point. Fuck it. Can you take 105 and 205 and go big fish hunting? Can you go after how much on top of that for a guy like Devon Achane? If you had to
can I get you Breece Hall plus DeAndre Swift? I think that could do that easily. 105 plus 205. I think you could get those guys easily or Travis Hunter if you want him instead.
Yeah, this guy's a pipsqueak. Definitely try your luck there for sure.
Yeah, like I'm sure in his position, he might go, yeah, I'd like to sell Breece Hall and DeAndre Swift, for example. Like, I'll take your young running back, Jadarian Price, I'm going to re-roll into, or maybe he takes Fernando Mendoza with that pick or something like that. Like, I think this is very easy to maneuver. And it's not like I don't like Jadarian Price. I think he'd fit your team just fine. I just think you can get a better competitive running back with that pick.
Also, Corey, it's pretty hilarious when you went down there. The team that was 1-13 only had like 40 less points than the team that was 5-9.
That is crazy. Yeah. This guy's team, I mean, he's competitive, it seems like. But yeah, like finding a rebuilding team that would be more interested in the picks. Like this guy too, he has the 101. He's going to add Jeremiah Love. Could you spend the 105 plus and see how nervous he is on Malik Neighbors? Like there's some people behind the news right now where they're probably worried about the ACL injury or something like that. So for me,
if they're not chronic Twitter
team,
users,
I think this is a team that can win the championship. So I would go after a hammer running back if you can, or a hammer wide receiver if you can.
Yeah, not everybody is a chronic Twitter user like us.
Yeah, we are chronic Twitter users. And it sucked because I deleted Twitter off my phone for a while and it was really nice. And I felt like better about my brain not having so much information overload. But then I go fantasy football news of the day in 60 seconds, like fucking ballistic every late July, early August. So my brain's torched again. Welcome back. I'll probably re-download League of Legends in like 2 days. Based on the state of my brain after this.
I thought it was too immature. No, I'm kidding.
It is too immature. And part of that like whole conversation was me trying to wish into existence me never playing again. And I realized there's some projection on my part to be like, to put it down so that it seems unappealing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's like so there's a study, right? Like I've mentioned this to you with in terms of BPD, right? Where basically, obviously you don't have it, but I'm just making the comparison here.
Well, you haven't been diagnosed with it either, sir.
Correct. I'm just putting the example that I saw on the internet, on YouTube. I watched someone break it down. It's like, if your thoughts on video gaming were like, it only actually 30% aggravates you, that 30% is going to feel so much worse than the 70% happiness it could bring you. So you like mentally determine in your head, that 30% unhappiness is the worst thing since sliced bread, and you don't even want to get yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I think it's fair too that like human beings in general like will focus on pain points of things, even if it's not a BPD thing. Like if something's bringing you less joy than it's bringing you drawbacks, I think it's normal for a human being to avoid that. Like human beings generally, like people will do more to avoid like hardship than they'll do to like go out and make their life better. You know what I mean? Like just avoiding hardship sometimes is easier and more stomachable for a human than to go out and, you know, start that business or whatever the case is that they're trying to do. Anyways, philosophical FSE day, apparently.
It wouldn't be a stream without a tangent.
It wouldn't. Yeah. And to be fair, like I think this is a fine trade here. I don't know what you think about it. I actually am getting a little higher on Bucky because the news is positive about him. It sounds like he's healthy.
Yeah, he's a guy that I'm probably going to have to raise a little bit. I had him at like the mid 60s. He's probably going to be close.
He's in the mid 40s for me right now, dude. I moved him pretty decently far up again. Like I think when you're thinking about a 4th round running back profile and you got a guy who's a pass catching dude who's been an RB2 in fantasy before and played like an RB1 when he was the starter down the stretch of his rookie season, and he's attached to what I would consider at least a league average offense with some upside to be top 12.
I'm not quite there, but like
I don't think it's outrageous to say that he's a 4th round redraft pick.
I can't get quite there, but in terms of like him versus Jalen Warren, I think I got to rank him above Jalen Warren.
Definitely got to be over those guys. I think you got to put him over Price for the time being while we're still hearing this backfield split stuff.
He got the RB1 snaps yesterday. I'm not worried.
I still would put him over Price.
I wouldn't.
I have him over, like, you're going to probably disagree with some of these, but I had Bucky Irving in the late 50s at one point. Like that was where he was. He was like around Jameson Williams, Brian Thomas Jr., those types of guys in my rankings. Now, I have since moved him over DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery.
Not for me, but I can see it.
Camp Scadaboo, and I have him one spot ahead of Quinshon Judkins. I have him. I have Tootin at 45, Henderson at 46, Irving at 47, and Judkins at 48. Those 4 guys represent really solid running back bets for me in the late 4th round area of the board.
So, the way my tier works in this range, and again, the guy at the bottom of this tier, I'm also baking in some of Arise on top of that. I don't even think he's going to end up being this low by the time late August comes around. So the tiers above him, obviously, Jeremiah Love, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Kyren Williams, like clear. I'm assuming you have him in this tier, and this tier for me would be Bashal Tuden 17, Josh Jacobs 18, Travis Etienne 19, Cam Scadaboo 20, Quinchon Judkins 21, Trevion Henderson 22. I'm assuming that Bucky would be in that tier for you, right?
So I have a major tier of 18 through 25, where
Okay.
Tootin is at 18 for me. ETN is at 25. So they're all all of those running backs. And I don't have Price in that tier. He's at 26 for me at the moment because I do think there's some merit to these Charbonnet report. I'm not really scared of Halani or any of this shit. What I'm scared of is Charbonnet coming back by week 6. Because I do think when Charbonnet comes back, there's a chance that he could be more Kenneth Walker role than he is, 70% featured back.
So I don't disagree there. I do have Price in the next tier. And the next tier that I kind of have labeled out here is David Montgomery at 23. I initially had him in the tier above, but now we're hearing some more Woody Marks rumblings. I think he could have a third down type of role, which didn't really seem like the narrative was that way 3 weeks ago. So kind of adjusted him down because of that. Jadarian Price at 24. I just moved Bucky now to 25. DeAndre Swift 26. Again, I've kind of talked about it on the channel. I think his cost is reasonable. It's just I don't think he's going to win you your league.
Well, I reordered my whole range of that running back portion. 18 through 25 is a tier for me. If you notice, 18 is Tootin, 19 is Henderson, 20 is Irving, 21 is Judkins, and 22 is Scadaboo. The end of that tier, Montgomery, Swift, ETN. What do you notice there, Danny?
Lack of upside.
Yeah, the young upside guys are the ones I have ranked higher than the older steady Eddie guys. And the reason for that is because I think it's a risk to take a running back in the 5th round period. It is. So if I'm going to take that risk, I want to do it on a guy that could smash. And while Montgomery and Swift and ETN could be solid, I think they will be solid, probably mid RB2s. And I think those 3 guys will outscore half of the names I have ranked ahead of them, probably just because of the hit rates of that area of the board. Yeah. I want to take the risk on the guys that could crush an RB1 season out of that range.
I kind of agree. The way I view it is the guys that I had 17 through 22, Tootin, Jacobs, ETN, Scadaboo, Judkins, and Henderson. If I had to take them in the late 4th, I would be comfortable with it. The line for me is like, I can't take Montgomery in the 4th, even if I think he has a safe workload. I can't take Price in the 4th. There's too many question marks, like you said, maybe Charbonnet. And on top of that, just like you want to hear positive buzz before you.
I know. I moved Price down after they started talking about Charbonnet potentially being ready for week 1. To me, that's a significant data point for Price because I was under the assumption that Charbonnet would be out until Thanksgiving.
Bucky Irving, I have at 25. Again, I'm still going to be relatively bullish on what Gainwell can bring to the backfield, but if Bucky is healthy, he should be the majority back on that team.
Yeah, so I'm telling you that if Bucky's healthy, Gainwell is White. Gainwell is Rashad White if Bucky is healthy.
DeAndre Swift, like we said, at 26. And then I have at 27 and 28 rounding out this tier. Kind of like the steady Eddie, who I think has a lot of PPR upside, would be Jaylen Warren. Just a guy that I love taking in the 6th round. And a guy that I think right now isn't there in underdog best ball.
Jonathan
you know exactly
Brooks,
who I'm going to say. It's Jonathan Brooks.
I'm at 29, dude. He's right there for. I have Pollard ahead of him. That's the only difference, probably. But other than Pollard, he's right there for me. And I have Hubbard at 33, so they're in the same tier as each other. But I do think that Brooks is the better bet of the two of them.
And yes, Mike. So I'm baking in some of the uncertainty right now. If Jacobs was fully ready to go in week 1, he would be in the tier with like Love, Henry, Hall, Javonte, and Kyron for me.
I'd have him at 22 overall if he was ready to go.
Spicy. I wouldn't
right with Bowers and Rice for me as like a late 2nd round pick, especially where you're picking. Because think about the other part of this too. When you're picking at 103 and 104, Danny, and you want to get a running back in the 2nd round, to me, Jacobs is the best one, assuming all the stuff clears up.
I disagree.
Chase or Nakua at the first pick, right?
Yeah, I'm just not there on Jacobs because I think the efficiency drop off, the lack of a receiving profile, and overall, like the game script could be a big impact. We mentioned the Parsons missing the first month and a half. Very, very slow paced offense, run the football ton. I honestly just think the Packers are going to throw the ball more inherently because they're going to need to. If Parsons isn't on the field, like that defense is not scary on paper.
No, it's not scary, but I think the full house from the 103 and the 104 inverted, where you take a double wide receiver start, first running back in round 3 and 2 running backs 4 and 5 is the way that I'm probably playing that pick if I get it.
I think that makes sense. Also, why do I like Jaylen Warren? You're not worried about Rico. 50-50 split is ugly.
It is a 50-50 split in camp right now, which I do tend to think will lead into the regular season. We'll just see what happens when the games are actually being played. Like, is Warren dramatically outplaying them? Is there because I think the one thing that's good about both of those players, though, is that if one of them started to get banged up, the other one would probably be a league winner.
And it's also just the bet on the archetype, in my opinion. Like, there's very smart people that are on Dowdle, and I'll give them their credit because ultimately I understand that rationale. He's worked with McCarthy before. He was productive in 2024. He's a good banger between the tackles. The reason why I'm on Warren is that We saw that Rodgers, literally last year, 70% of his production came 10 yards or under. On top of that, we know that McCarthy, from a pure passing script perspective, 60+% team passing rate in 13 of his 18 years is the stat I think I brought up when we were talking about Warren last time. On top of that, we saw weeks 11 through 18. Yeah, sure, there's more target competition. I expect Freiermuth to get more involved with Mike McCarthy. I expect Pittman to get more involved with Mike McCarthy. But at the same time, Gainwell was the RB fucking 8 in fantasy, 17 points per game, weeks 11 through 18.
He was great down the stretch. I still think that Gainwell, I still think that that Warren isn't going to get all of what Gainwell was getting, because I think a large part of why Rodgers was throwing that much to the running backs is because they had no receivers and they have better receivers now.
So I agree. The thing that I would counter, though, is he was doing that on 7 carries per game. And I think Warren, even if like doomsday scenario, Dowdle out-touched Warren in the ground game, I would think it would be like a 16 to 13 per game type of split.
Taking your swing on the Steelers backfield, though, people are going to just avoid it and go, I don't give a shit. I really don't care or whatever. But I do think that one of them could be really profitable. Whoever the right answer is, if it's injury related, somebody gets hurt and the other one becomes the starter, or if somebody outright pulls away from the other guy, I really do think that they will be a really, really good pick at cost. Like if Warren smashes from round 7 or round 8, or Dowdle smashes from round 8 or round 9, people are going to be like, damn, that was a good pick.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's a backfield that I want to be investing in, especially knowing how high the pass rate's going to be and the opportunity at receiving production. That's the main thing, because Rodgers isn't going to be the type of guy that's going to rush for 400 yards. That's going to scramble out of the pocket.
He might not rush for 4 yards.
Bro, how many times this year is he going to take a 5-step drop, step on the back foot, and hit the check down? How many times do you think that's going to happen this year?
A lot. A lot. And my point of contention is that check down might be Michael Pittman Jr.
Very well. Could be Jeremy Bernard, could be Pat Freiermuth. Like I just want to be in on this.
He's going to have the ball's going to be out of his hands on 80% of his dropbacks in less than
within 2 seconds.
Yeah, like it's just going to be fired out of there. But anyways, let's move on.
Give me 1 second. By the way, my mom just is asking me a question. I'm just going to answer her quick.
All right. I will move on to the next team here. Again, Kyle, I think you got a couple of moves to be made and you can win this thing, man. So I would take that 105, that 205, and even like you have 2 extra firsts we didn't even talk about. Take those picks if you have to and add them to the 105 and go get a hammer, dude. See how much Bijan costs, see how much Gibbs costs. Only do it, though. I just want to be perfectly clear. Only do it if you're getting a hammer producer and who's young, too. Like, don't just go trade for like Terry McLaurin and some guys like that. Like, trading for an Amari and Hampton will go a long way for a team like this, as opposed to trading for 3 solid pieces. So I'd rather go trade for 1 hammer than 2 or 3 solid depth pieces. So let me refresh here. So we're good. All right. We got Skyzzle, Snubbs, and Sonny Arthur here. And then we will be out of the stream because I do have a hard out in about 15-ish minutes or so. Let me just put in the timestamp. What time are we at? 1:56. All right. Skyzzle, we're up first. First year of fantasy football. Thinking about moving Puka for Gibbs and finding a different way to get a different receiver. Maybe KC or Lemon in the second round. Maybe I'm wrong here. What would you recommend in this league? 12-team Superflex PPR tight end premium. I've been told my 2027 first. I've been told to hold my 27 first unless it's an absolute home run. So a lot of high man. No regrets. Okay, so you have a rebuilder's 27 first, which is obviously good because you got an early to mid projected 27 first. And you also have the 106 this year. You haven't had the rookie draft yet. 207, 307, etc. Yeah, you have, I mean, not a whole lot of depth. I'm assuming that it's because it's on my fantasy league that all the depth isn't showing that you have. But generally, the top end production is all that's going to matter anyway. So, yeah, good top end guys. In a 2-quarterback league, I think you're in pretty good shape there. You definitely could use another quarterback. So if Fernando Mendoza were to fall to you, I would be totally fine taking him. The other thing I would recommend too is at 106, you mentioned Lemon, KC, somebody like that. You said in the second round. They should not be on the board in the second round. If they fall to the second round, that's a home run pick any day of the week and twice on Sunday. At 106, if Mekhi Lemon is there, I am taking him all day. If Jadarian Price is there, I'm taking him all day. Jordan Tyson's there, I'm taking them all day. That's going to be one of your 3 fallers, most likely, just given the settings of this league. At 106, it's most commonly Mekhi Lemon, Fernando Mendoza, Jadarian Price, or Jordan Tyson. Whoever falls, I'm taking, because you could use the receiver help, you could use the running back help, or you could use the third quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. It is an MFL league, so none of his depth is showing because that's an issue with MFL. But just looking at his kind of like starting lineup type of options, he does also have this guy's first, which is projected to be a top 3 to 4 pick probably next year, and his own pick. So, I mean, the shell is strong. Like, you have a couple of great receivers, really good RB1. If you could add, let's say who's the most likely player to fall in a league like this? Mekhi Lemon?
To the 106?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Let's say it's Mekhi Lemon that you add to this team. You add Mekhi Lemon to this team, you got a 3 stack of receivers you feel good about. QJ and Metcalf are good depth. At running back, you could take a swing at the 207 on somebody if somebody's there for you, like a Singleton or somebody like that. 307, I'm taking more swings on running backs if I can. But generally, this is a good house money. I think that's the way that I would describe a team like this. It's good enough to win if things break right. But if things aren't breaking right for you, I'd be selling Josh Jacobs. I'd be offloading DK Metcalf, shedding the fat of some of your older players.
Also, I didn't burp. What?
Did you join with a burp?
I don't think I burped. Did I burp?
Anyways,
also shout out Skyzzle. Yeah, just to reiterate what Corey said, pretty much agree with you. Wait and see in season. Realistically, if your team's telling you strong, and you know you can compete with OG Gerb, sure, go nuts. But also at the same time, you got a young shell.
Yeah, he's 4th in contending value right now, but once you add a guy, I think you'll be in better shape there. You also could float out the possibility of trading for a player, like a competitive asset with the 106. I just don't know what the rest of your team looks like, because I think your depth is being cut off by the MFL integration here. So if there's like a bunch of good depth that I don't see here, then maybe you're closer to winning the championship than I think right now.
Also got a hard cutoff in 15 minutes. So,
so do I. So we're going to rattle through these last 2 reviews and then get through that. So
let's go.
Yeah, definitely a lot of flexibility with this team. Again, don't be too rigid with your strategy. Don't be too committed to taking a player at 106 if there's a good veteran available for the same price tag, especially because you are 4th in contending value and 2nd in overall value. So you could win the championship and compete with OG Gerb. You just got to make sure you know that OG Gerb is currently ahead of you at that point in time, because he does have Chase Brown, Walker, Jaden Daniels, May, Jefferson. Like, it's going to be hard to compete with him at this point in time. But you got a decent chance of actually making it interesting. So
on the same page with you there.
Yeah, nothing else to really add. Again, if you want to move one of your late projected first, if let's say you sold the 106 for Breece Hall or something, and you're ready to compete, and somebody wants to sell you another competitive asset for your own 27 first, and you keep this guy's 27 first because it's expected to be early, I also wouldn't be opposed to a deal like that either.
For sure. Also, Danny, Big Mike says, Danny, where are we going this afternoon? I'm thinking cheeseburgers and signing a pinata that looks like Avery. I have a tea time at 3:30 Eastern time, and I was getting bombarded with messages and calls from my uncle because he's like, I'll pick you up at 2:30. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still finishing my stream, so make it 2:40, which is why I said 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good here. Okay. Snub says, won this league last year. A few teams made moves to be more competitive this year. Do you have any thoughts on any moves? So Josh O, he's a juggernaut. So he's he's pocket watching the people behind him, seeing that they're trying to catch up to him, which naturally is going to happen when you're the juggernaut. You're going to be looking down. Who's my competition? Who's the guys that I'm trying to compete with? The one thing I would say is that this team is a little bit of a house of cards. Like, it's a start 9. So you generally want to have a great starting lineup, and you do. But behind Swift, Genty, Smith, Jefferson, JSN, Loveland, Herbert, and Allen, there's not a ton of depth on this team. Like, you're an injury away from starting Jonathan Brooks or RJ Harvey or Josh Downs or Jalen Coker.
So I agree, but you got a couple seconds if you want to patch depth in season. And realistically, going into the year, like, Brooks, Gainwell as backup running backs, Coker, Downs, option off the bench at receiver, maybe a guy like Stephon Diggs.
Gainwell ahead of Harvey, do you?
Huh?
Gainwell ahead of Harvey? He's a better
throw Harvey in there too. Sure. All 3 of them are decent depth options. I was just naming off names.
You could pivot Harvey into a competitive running back, though, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
If Montgomery for Harvey straight is a swap that you could make, I would do something along those lines if you had to.
I'd be willing to throw fucking Harvey in a second for Derrick Henry and not think twice about it.
I'd be fine with it too. Like Danny said, you could either look to patch some depth now if you feel like there's a good offer on the table for you. Like, you have 2 2s. One of the 2s that you have is more of like a mid projected or early projected 2 next year. Could you go after, Devontae Adams for a receiver depth piece? Could you go after Mike Evans? Could you go after Terry McLaurin, somebody along those lines? I'd be fine doing that if you want to make that patchwork now, or if you want to wait until it's actually a pressing issue because JSN has a hamstring pull in the season or something like that. And that's when you actually need the depth. But generally, based on your starting lineup, I think you could definitely win the championship with this team. The other thing I would maybe explore, if it's available to you, not that I would go out of my way to do something like this, but if it's available to you, you do have Allen and Herbert at quarterback. If you wanted to tear down from one of those quarterbacks and pick up a player of significant value, you could definitely do that if you need to. Like let's say if Josh Allen, there was a team that wanted to sell you, like this guy with Trevor Lawrence. Let's say he offered you Trevor Lawrence and Amari and Hampton for Josh Allen and 2 2s or something like that. That's a move that would significantly help your team. So I would be willing to do something like that if it's available to you. But again, people don't always want to tier up at quarterback. So it might not be on the table for you to do. I'm just saying explore an option like that because having Allen and Herbert is a little unnecessary. Like you could tier down a little bit.
He's a juggernaut. You can also just say, fuck it. I'm gonna
like
enjoy the luxury.
That's why I said it's got to be a deal where in the calculator it says you win and you're getting a significant producer for doing like a Hampton or like a, somebody that's going to help your team in a significant facet.
Hampton, Purdy, and a 1 for fucking Allen would be the type of deal you need to be.
I would probably do Hampton and Purdy straight for Allen, to be honest.
Well, you just mentioned you need an overpay. I wouldn't.
Okay, well, I would be fine with that personally because Purdy's a 3rd round startup pick, Hampton's a mid-2nd round startup pick. I'd be willing to do something like that. But if somebody and maybe they throw
feels like about market value.
Yeah, maybe they throw a 2 or something on top of it, or another competitive Mike Evans type or something like that. I'd be maybe willing to do it then.
Also appreciate you, Skyzzle. He says he doesn't have depth on top of the team that we just reviewed. However, the way the league works is I guess he's got a budget. The waiver wire opens in 2 weeks, so I guess he's going to be able to go pick it up. I'm assuming is everybody kind of following that? Does everybody have weak depth?
Everyone had no depth, so yeah, I guess so.
So then it must be like just an open waiver.
Maybe it's like a borderline keeper league where you get like 10 players and you spend your depth on an auction style budget situation. I was
gonna say, Loki sounds like a mixture between like a dynasty league and an auction draft.
It's like a dynasty keeper auction, basically.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Is essentially what it looks like. But yeah, that makes sense. Anything else on Snubbs? Because I mean, he's basically he's in an enviable position where he's up in his ivory tower looking down at all the peasants trying to compete with him.
Yeah, you're just like, how do I keep this belt and keep giving people belt?
Yeah. I mean, you got 7,000 more contending value points than the rest of the people in your league. You got 3 top 12 receivers, a top 3 tight end, 2 top 10 quarterbacks. In fact, I have Herbert as a top 5 quarterback in my rankings. Genty and Swift, both competitive guys. But again, upgrade at running back if you can, upgrade at receiver if you can. Generally speaking, you don't need to do anything if you don't have to. But target some of these purgatory teams. See if you can pick off a competitive running back like a Saquon or a Henry or somebody like that.
That's also that. Yeah, that's a fire concept there, Skyzzle. And Arthur also says he's in a keeper auction.
Interesting. So we can probably move on to Arthur's trade question here. He said Zach talks first. Only has 1 quarterback, not many hammers. So Zach talk. Let's see if we can find him. Am I blind?
We'll look at only has 1 quarterback. Who has 1 quarterback?
This guy's 10th at quarterback.
Probably not him.
Probably this guy. He has 0 quarterbacks. Probably this guy, maybe.
He's got Stafford too.
He did say it's his first, and he doesn't have a first.
So Halaban.
Maybe it's this guy. I don't know.
The Halaban's higher up. Are we guaranteeing that's going to be an early first though? Check the Halaban.
Maybe, but he doesn't have his. No, you know what it is? This guy has all the first, so it's probably I Chase Brown's team's first that he's getting from this guy though. It's not the player that's trading him that first, but it's that guy's first that he's getting in the deal.
I mean, this is just enough value to do.
It also says ladies. Oh, that's his team. Okay.
Even if we say that's a mid first, I think there's a good value for Puka.
Yeah, I don't disagree, honestly.
Yeah. With an early first, it's a no-brainer, but even if that's slated to be mid, like I would still probably do this deal just because I'm also just a big believer in Drake London. On top of that, we are valuing Puka right now off of the 23 point per game year, but also at the same time, we know with Puka, we can acknowledge that the offseason headline, stuff like that. If you were to be, let me paint this hypothetical to you, Corey.
This guy's 1.
Hey, Corey, let me paint this hypothetical to you. If Puka was a 20 or 20 and a half point per game scorer and like the offseason stuff was still going on and London kept that 19 and a half point per game pace he was at the beginning of last year, I think they'd be going back to back in startups.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, they're about the same age. This guy, I would say it's a stretch to say this guy's going to have the 103. I think it's more of a mid first.
I agree. I think it's a mid first.
But a couple injuries, especially Jaden Daniels is his only quarterback. Yeah. Jaden's not the most poster child of health. I would say this is a pretty good deal. You're just free balling the upside that it's higher than a mid first, to be honest with you. So,
I agree with you. And I do enjoy a good free ball.
Yeah, you do enjoy a good free ball indeed. So that is going to be it for us today. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Leave a like on the stream if you enjoyed. We'll have you covered with what is the video coming out today again? This year's JSN, this year's Chris Olave, this year's Pickens. We're going to try and predict based on that stuff who those players will be. So that'll be a really fun one. That should be coming out in the next hour or so. So make sure to stay tuned for that. I'll keep you updated with more fantasy news as we get into the weekend, and league winning wide receivers tomorrow. I did a little bit of a different spin on it, and I think it's made the video better, to be honest with you. So make sure to check out that video. Early round running back strategy, that trusty veterans, that kind of stuff. That stuff will be on Sunday as well. So big time week of content. And before you know it, Danny, a week from Sunday, the #1 draft strategy video coming out. So I mean, we're getting into the peak time, and before you know it, we will be in Austin, Texas. And while we're there, we're going to try and get some content filmed with the other guys and maybe post it while we're there and that kind of thing too. So stay tuned for all that stuff. We will talk to you guys later. Appreciate it. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you again for 80,000 subscribers. We hit that overnight. Road to 100K, baby. We're trying to get to 100K by Christmas. 100K
Let's do it
in 2 facets by Christmas would be great. One of us winning the 100K in the Flock League and 100K YouTube subscribers. They're going for a double 100K by Christmas.
Yeah, maybe I win 100K in the Mastiff too. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe I win 100K in the Big Dog or 200K in the Big Dog. So really appreciate you guys. Peace out. We'll talk to you soon.